know the specific story here, but it's been in a downtrend, so it could just be that.
All right, see you later, everybody. Good show, Neil. Thank you for watching again. Good show. Thank you, Adair, for everything. Thanks, Brandon. Over to Sharief and Joe. See you guys at 2 p.m.
It is 11.
Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. Right there's your boy, Joey Options. He doesn't want anybody talking. And I'm your boy, Sharief. And who do we got in the chat today? Let's see who's weaseling on in. We got Ryan. We got Afterstar. Artemis is there. Joey, he's got his mind in the moon. Steve, we got Mike. We got High Vibrations and Ryan. Shout out to Dangerous and Rex Banner. Dan Gale joining us. Modestas. We got Vern, Ret Sport, Mark Zemes. We got Dark Room, I like that. Miggy Mogmo, shout out to Joe Mama. Eismer, we got High Vibrations, and Tony Ku Vornal. I have no idea what that means other than Tony. Daniel, we got Ed Miller, YV, shout out to Party P. Get it, Party P. We got Rook78 and Krishan Dookie, Tony, we got Jay, we got William Randolph, shout out to Joe McFarlane, Eric H. and Joseph Staniak, I think I said that right. We got Eliza. Shout out to 925 Grind, and we got Joe B. Who else, man? Jordy VWAP. We got Jordan Fisher and Glass, half full, eclectic passion joining us as well. Shout out to Chad Alon, Kenya Flowers. We got Omid. Get it, Persia. There's definitely Persia. Dexter Smith. We got Why Not. Hurt Scrambler. One more, Joey. Hinsey. Shout out to my man, Hinsey. Hope everybody is having a fantastic morning. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. All right, guys, screen, please. Thanks, Assassino.
There you go, bro.
Meta. 1, 2, 3.
How many dollars?
4, 5,
That's crazy
6,
talk.
7, 8.
Crazy.
And a half.
Dollars?
Yeah.
Like $7.50?
Yeah,
That's
close to that, man.
trade, bro.
Close to that, man.
That's crazy.
Just had to be. What's up, TP? I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. All right, this is what you do when you rebound, man. You just got to rebound strong.
Dang.
You game plan in the night before. You just get that mental toughness going and everything along those lines. And then sure enough, you come in. What's going on? Dangerous. Joseph Wilson. Yes, that is my name that I was given. I go by it as well, too. So what's going on, everybody? Once again, I have no idea, Sharief. But yeah, what's up, Big Seven?
Get it,
no, I hope everyone's having a fantastic morning, guys. This is the only trade that I put on throughout the session. Was Meta 629.50s all the way up to 638s. A nice little grab off of those lows. If it was IBIT, it would have been way more hype. No, I wouldn't say that. I'm not even looking at that thing, to be honest with you right now, just to preserve my own sanity, essentially, at the end of the day. But other than that, guys, one trade, looking for some other primetime opportunities. I was looking at QUBT quantum computing off of the lows. There's some good opportunities there, but we didn't take it, right? We were just focusing, waiting to hit target there in META. It was the pre-market high, was the primary. Front run it a little bit, and then sure enough, we get that move up into 638, close to the top. I thought that 645s was going to be in the works today, but we started to stall out a little bit. But following with the overall market, and that's exactly what we want to see with Meta. So right now, I'm just sitting on my hands, waiting for a primetime opportunity to see if we can take advantage of something. NVDA 197 all the way up to 203. That's a fantastic move. I think 200 NVDA is a primetime buy. You want to start grabbing some. Joe, you love BTCK, but you're scared buying at 104. No, Sean, I'm not scared at all. You just have to understand, like, I can't DCA into an oblivion, right? Oh. Like I have the game plan. I'm already in my full amount of size, so I can't buy anymore. I just write calls against the position. And to be honest with you, I've been buying in the long term. I've been buying IBIT since it literally IPO. So again, I can't be just overweight one thing. I still like it. Am I in love with it right now? Absolutely not. No. But I want to see a nice strong rebound in the crypto space.
All right, guys. Good morning to everybody. Happy Wednesday. Let's get right down to work. Okay. So here's what I've got on right now. These are the ones I'm watching. APPS. I'm already 0 for 1. I'm negative on the day because of this piece of crap. We're gonna try to do it live here on SLDP SLDP up 50.75%. You're gonna see Sedge up there. Not a small cap gapper, but trading like one today. Solar name, big gap up, 20%. We're going to see if I execute on that. I haven't quite decided. NFE. and THAR looking real good. I'm in SLDP right now. We'll get to that one in a second, but let's talk about NFE. Great day today. It was a bad couple of days. Well, sorry, it was a good day on Monday. In the aftermarket, it started going around 6 o'clock. No idea why, and I quite frankly don't care. And then it had a good pre-market yesterday. But when all was said and done, we basically closed out well below the highs. Today, trying to recover at that 175. We've got key areas of technical resistance. We're talking about $1.85. That takes us into yesterday's high. But we've also got that $2. That's the pre-market for Monday. Alas, it's at the high right now at 1 3/4. It's been quite respectful of the 10 EMA on the 5, as you can see. Nary a breach, and when it did, it got quickly bought up. THAR is the other one I'm looking at. This is a good bull flag continuation. Bull flag manifests at 930. You get the consolidative range between 370 and 385, and then boom, on volume, good volume candle there, takes it above 385, and now we're above 4. We're 23% in the clear, and there goes my trade right now on SLDP, holding the 10. We're at 60. I've got 46s on here. Let's see if this one can run into $0.75. The high is 80. We're gonna pause for a second. We're going to the big desk.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, Fed's Myron is currently speaking, and one of the things he just said I think is really interesting. He said that the job market data indicates that interest rates, quote, could be lower than the current level. So once again here, Fed Myron advocating for rate cuts, or certainly more aggressive rate cuts. We know the last 2 meetings he has dissented from the 25 basis point rate cut opinion in favor of 50 basis point cuts. He also did say, though, in addition to this job data, or related to the job data, that the ADP data was, quote, a welcome surprise. Back to you.
Good stuff, good stuff. You got anything going on there?
Yeah, just responding, sorry, to their Rex Banner. I just responded to you, brother. So what else we got on? We got on DTCK. You guys will obviously remember this because we've been trading it every day this week. On a third day with higher lows and higher highs. It's not rocketing up in the way that it did yesterday or the way that it did Monday, but it could. It's got decent amount of volume, not the best that we've seen certainly this week. A $6 high, but take a gander at these higher lows. And I hate to sound like a broken record, but the fact of the matter is the 10 EMA on the 5 is playing a part in these trades because they're coming down into the 10 EMA and they're holding up. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. DTCK as well. And then a couple of other ones here, Joey. SOLS, a bit more expensive. It's trading at around 48 bucks, 49.70 high. It looked like a buy program to start the day. And then as it typically does, as we get into around 11 o'clock, the buy programs got shut off, which is fine, right? Because we can trade it a little bit differently than we would have. SRPT, the last one, this one got crapped on yesterday, right at the close. This one looked like it reported earnings, popped into 25.50, 25.75, and when all was said and done in the aftermarket, we were down below 15 bucks. Trying to rebound now, likely what's it called? SRPT. I'm just trying to see if it's short sale restricted. Give me a second over here. SRPT should be. Just want to make sure that it is not. Actually, it's not showing me short sale restricted. Okay, not bad. In any event, 1855 high a day, Joey. I'd buy this at around 1780 because that's where VWAP is, and that's where the implied balance open high is.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. You know what movie this is from, Sharief?
You're
Scared of who? I ain't scared of nobody. Scared of who? Scared of you? I ain't scared of nobody.
What happened there?
Who, man?
Who are you talking to?
Coach Carter, man. Coach Carter.
My bad. I thought you were talking to somebody I couldn't see.
No. Yeah, it's scared.
Neil understood. I have no
Scared
idea.
of who? Scared of you? I ain't scared of nobody. Come on, man.
Get it, Joe.
There's obviously some words in between there that we can't repeat. But shout out to one of the greatest movies of all time, man. What is your greatest fear? That's going to be the ocean.
Greatest fear?
The ocean. Without any question. I do not mess with it. Yeah.
Can I ask why?
Sharks, man. It's that simple.
But what if we're in a non-shark area, Joey?
I still panic a little bit, you know what I mean? But
is it because you can't see what?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah,
I respect that.
100%.
I respect
terrified of that. But no, in all serious, guys, let's get over to some things here. Hold on, Assassino. Let me pull up other things. Oh no, that's all we wanted. I know, Mike P, you live in the ocean essentially, but what we're going to do and what isn't in the ocean right now is the top performing sectors because we're going to see a little bit of green on the day, guys. At the top of the list, we have the energy sector up roughly around 9/10, a little less than that. The technology sector, technology. All right. Tech sector is up about 0.6. Communication service just a little bit under 0.5%. The bottom three is going to be the healthcare, real estate, and consumer with a respective 0.16% down, 0.34% down, and consumer staples 0.5% down. So yeah, that's what we're looking at, man. Now it's just absolute sniper mode considering the trade that we put on today. This is what I was waiting for. I literally sat on my hands for some time, and I'm like, you know what?
Joey, how many dollars did you take again?
1.
Just remind me.
Yeah.
What?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Oh no, George Washington is absolutely jealous. That's a great trade, brother.
I appreciate that, man. Grew up with the ocean. Yeah, I know you guys are traumatized by Jaw heavily. Yeah, I know, man. Like, so I'll swim in it, but I don't go deep. I think I told you guys this story. I did the most sketchy thing in Trinidad one time, and I swam in this cove. For all my Caribbean people, and you know what bacon shark is? Or all my all my Trinis know what bacon shark is. Anyways, I'm swimming in the cove Maracas, or I believe that's what it's called, Maracas or something, and it's pure murky. And I decide to swim across this cove where they catch the sharks to make the food. Right? Why? I don't know. But I swear, after I thought about it a little bit, I'm like, man, I'm so fortunate to not have got gobbled up.
Dude.
But yeah.
But most sharks don't look at humans as food.
No.
Most of them. But there's aggressive ones like tiger sharks, bull sharks.
Tiger shark. Yeah. Big time. They got those over in Egypt. Those.
Yeah, man. The Red Sea, baby. Not so much in the Mediterranean, Joey. You don't have to worry. But if you go East Coast, where El Guna is, Garda, Sharm el-Sheikh, all those areas.
Going to it there. But don't forget, fish are friends, not food. Adair, what do you got for us?
More comments from Fed's Myron coming through here. Fed's Myron saying that if tariff income if tariff income went away, it would bear on the Fed policy. Now, this is significant because, as we know right now, I've been listening to it for the past just over an hour now. We do have that Supreme Court hearing currently happening, the oral arguments anyway, over this tariff case for the U.S. So again, Fed's Myron saying that if we lose that tariff income, that could impact Fed policy. He said, though, generally that his projections are, quote, not that different from others on the Fed. He just wants to get to rate cuts faster than other Fed members. So again, Fed's Myron still speaking. I'm keeping an eye out here, and I will certainly let you all know. Back to you.
Joey, Mallorca, ecstasy in motion, whoa.
Oh yeah, that's a
said
classic.
Mallorca in the chat,
yeah,
and
man.
being ADD, I just start singing.
That's a sick song. Why swim with the sharks? Eat, brother. Little chum in the water. Yeah. Anyways, aside from that, guys, let's get into these markets. Talk a little stocks here. To be honest with you, I've taken a couple looks at the crypto space today. I told you we're just gonna keep an eye on it. You get up and pop up into 58.95. Let's unlock this here so we can see exactly what I'm looking at. We have a bunch of names across the board. That's going to be the TQs. Obviously, the SPY, you want to keep an eye out on that. This was a really nice print on QUBT off of those lows. Get that pop right through the volume-weighted average price. IBIT starting to come back in. Let's get that off the old screen ski there and see what we got going on with advanced micro.
Good for the psychology.
Yeah, it's pure psychology right there. Yeah, we don't want to keep an eye on that. But no, in all seriousness, guys, sold those 69 calls. I think it was 67 calls. Collected almost 60% of the premium right now. So if I close that up, I can just roll those over to the 65s. So literally, I'm hedging against my 65 calls. But once again, I get to collect $70 per contract, which I like, and I have 6 of them. So that adds up really, really quick. So I'm just hoping, I think at this point, even though I have a lot of time, if I do get to the break even, I'll cut my position a little bit just in case we just get that retest that Neil was talking about this morning, because that's essentially what I'm thinking about. You get that breakdown, and then you get the retest of specific levels, and I think that's going to be a little bit of my out. So crypto-wise, I've been printing on swing, SCRT secret. Okay, I like saying that. W Buffett number 1, RIVN. I know that's you, Payco. Don't think you can hide around me. I know exactly, because you type the exact same thing all the time, and I know you're printing on the shorts or on the longs, my friend. Rivian, a really nice play from $13 all the way up to $14.43. Now, I'm just in sniper mode looking for some primetime opportunities. Our seller's going to step back into the session, maybe possibly. I like our chances considering how aggressive the selling was yesterday. But what does this look like to you? You get this move up here, and now you're starting to consolidate at that 269 level on AAPL. You might get a breakout. What you want to wait for is the lower end of the range right here, guys. Sorry, I keep hitting the wrong thing. And then your risk to reward is going to be drastically better. If you're trying to buy the tops and look for that breakout, what you need to obviously correlate with that specific move is the volume supporting it, all right? So that's what I'm looking for. Multiple names on our watch list here. Can Meta continue to climb? I think so. I think 645 might be in the works for today. Let's zoom out and go to the daily because this is going to be extremely important. So we have a bunch of indecisions. Well, guess what? The IV is starting to cool off on META as well too. What does that mean for us? Well, we get lower premiums. So let's pull up the options chain and take a look at some Meta calls that are going to expire. We'll call it next year. We'll call it early next year, right? So we'll go to the January 16th, no problem about those. And those were relatively expensive. A couple $100 more when we were looking at it. At Money IV, now down to 34%. That was around 60 to 70% earlier in the week. Why? Because you had those drastic moves to the downside. So now you've been patient enough. Those premiums have come down. I think there's going to be some solid opportunities to get involved in some META.
All right, guys. We're doing it live right now on SLDP. I just got into DTCK. I'm going to talk about that one in a second. So SLDP, we got in at, geez, that thing, man, 43 pennies. We're in at 43. We've wet the beak all the way up to 75. There is a seller at 75 that we can't shake. Okay, 80 is the high, but that's where the seller is. He's hanging out at 75. So let's see if we can shake this out. Now, I've got another order here to get some more because I'm almost exhausted out of shares off the 10 EMA. I'm waiting at 52. So let's see if we can get that print there into 52s or what the situation is. DTCK, we got the ad. This one is holding the 10 EMA. I don't want anything to do with this. If it loses 60 pennies, that will be an area low. So we got a beak wetter there at 88. What do we got? We got 76, so a little out of the money right now actually on DTCK, but it's generally holding the 10. Now, it's got an umpteen amount of topping tails, all of which, you know, are kind of manifesting between, I want to say, 75 pennies to $6. So let's see if DTCK can hold the 10 and make another attempt at that $6 area, packing the patience there. Let's see what we get on this one. So let's see if we got the fill on SLDP. Yeah, we got the 52 fills. It's going to have to hold the 10 EMA, and that changes our cost basis a little bit. So let's go ahead and post now that we've got some more shares on over here and see what we can get on SLDP. Back now to DTCK because this one looks like it's going to lose 60, so we will get stopped out. That's actually the first time it loses the 10 EMA on the day. A little frustrating there. It might have been a little liquidity grab, finding some support off the $0.50 and into the 20 EMA. I want to watch this one a little bit more. I could pick this one up at the third of a dollar, which is the volume weighted average price. So we'll give back a little bit on that trade there on DTCK. NFE is another one that I'm keeping my eye closely on here. Not a rocket ship or anything like that, but a very respectable uptrend. 178 the high. Most of the prints find support at the 10 EMA on the 5. Just basically my normal trading style, but it's all gas, no breaks right now. Where the hell is my THAR trade? There it is. Look at THAR go, man. Bull flag continuation into 417. Very strong at the high of the day right now at 28% and change. This one could be really interesting if it comes back in defense 4, especially if the 10 EMA moves from where currently is at 395 into 4. Then you have double the support at that area. So I want to put something here, you know, near that $4 area. Maybe we'll wait at 3s to front run it by a shekel or two on THAR. I want to get in, but you know, it's not really my style to want to punch in at high. So we'll wait for maybe a retracement into that $4 area, and then we'll see what we get there. SOLS, I talked about that one, a bit more expensive. Don't really want to get into that one right now. But it does have a good looking pattern, man. So I might have to rethink this. Great hold off the 10 EMA. Generally, it's being bought at around $48. It does wick down. Look, and now it's making new area highs. SOLS could be another attempt here, could have another attempt at $50, $49.70 high. More expensive, more spready. Make sure you're taking that into account when you are trading it. Roland, Sharief, how do you switch tabs on Windows Smooth like that? All right, here we're going to show them.
Yeah, show me.
So, window, tab. Window tab generates this view here, so you can create desktops. You have virtual desktops. Joey's only got one on his. I've got 5. six, excuse me, so that I can have six different trading screens. So the way to switch between them, Control, Windows, and then the arrow button. So you can see how I can do that. So the way to add the window is Windows tab, and then you add new desktop right there, and then to switch them, Control, Windows, and then the arrow buttons. I hope that helps. All right, Joey, what do you got?
Same thing, man. We're just posted up right now. We're being patient, waiting for some quality opportunities. I was thinking in the meantime, guys, we go through some option strategies or something along those lines until I find something. Let's pull this up. We'll turn on our good old strategy builder there and think about, hey, what are we looking to do here with Meta? Because I know a lot of individuals want to get involved with it, whether it be via the options route or anything along those lines. But if you're looking at this and saying, hey, well, I believe that this is going to be too expensive for me, well, let's break it down. Let's create some some bull call spreads, right? Let's get involved in that. So we're going to build an at-the-money strike here, and we're going to just see what this is actually going to cost us at the end of the day. So essentially, let's go over to our strategy. We're going to do a vertical spread over here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, thank you. Get that out of Get that out of here, man. All right, so here we go. We're going to have to scroll down. Come on, get out of here, man. All right, cool, good stuff. Clear all legs. Now we're back to our vertical spread, and let's start it off right here. So we're gonna start with that at the money, 635, and then we wanna hedge against our position. Why? Because we think it's a little bit too expensive and we don't wanna pay $4,300 for this contract. So what can we do? Well, we can go up to the 700s, or we can use a delta metric that we like a little bit lower, so it doesn't cover as much, but it's clearly not as expensive. So we'll go to 750, because why not, right? So there it goes. You get to save $1,000 off of that. Now let's take a look at our risk profile. Now, as for this, the max return is going to be a beautiful 2.5 to 1. So you're risking $3,275 to gain $812. Well, how do we get this $8,120? I'm going to tell you right after we get back from Madera.
Keep an eye here on PTON Peloton. This one on watch here. Apparently their Peloton and ChatGPT integration app is now live. I'm seeing this on social media. No, this is previously announced, but either way here, PTON getting a little bit of a move here on that announcement. Again, Peloton and ChatGPT integration where their app is now live. Back to you.
Peloton. You know your boy goes on a walk 10 to 10:30. Was on Bloor Street, checking out all the designer stuff that I can't afford. Amongst those stores, the designer stores, was a former Peloton store that's now vacated. Joey, you surprised by that?
No.
You're probably paying 20, 25 grand in rent per month on Bloor Street, where Prada and
Yorkville
Dolce
and everything
YSL all are. You can imagine what the lease rates are there. And you're probably not making that.
No. For your pedal bike and an iPad.
The crap on them.
I know.
But that's really what it is, dude.
Hey, man, drop the brick and mortar, get out of there, and then team up with Walmart or something like that, or some fitness, some bulk fitness store or something along those lines.
But I wasn't surprised at all. They shut down at Yorkdale. They shut down.
It's not sustainable, man. Too one-dimensional, I think. There
you go. I think that's accurate.
So guys, let's get back to this spread here. Also, I'm game planning this for myself. But how do we hit those max profits, and where do we hit max loss roughly? Bang. So if that goes down to $460, I don't think that's the case. We want to use a stop on this trade as well too. So I mean, I think $600 is going to be a good stop. You can obviously tighten it. You're going to be down $1,200 at that point. But if you're going to look for a risk to reward, which we're currently trading at 636. If we head up here on this chain to we'll call it 700 flat. What is that going to give us? So you're still substantially up there. So roughly a 2 to 1 there on this. You're up about 20. Is it 20? Yeah, $3,400. You're going to take that all day. You're going to risk 1,000 to make $3,400. But the beauty of the call debit spread, I get confused sometimes, bull call spread, is that, hey, once the thesis really starts working out, what can you do? You can just buy back your short call, and then look what happens if this is the case. All right, so we're going to eliminate one of the legs here, and then we're going to go back to our profile. But essentially what it does is that, hey, we're working, the trade is working. There's no reason for me to have a hedge against my position just yet. I can buy back that at maybe a little bit more than what I got, the premium I collected. And then sure enough, you're just free roaming. So you have 75 days, and your profit target I mean, your profit potential is obviously unlimited. You need it to go substantially higher, but if you go back to 700, you're up an extra grand on that one. So $5,000 approximately, and you're only going to be risking $1,200. We take that all day, every day.
Yeah, just before we go to Adair Ram, I just want to say THR is breaking out, guys. There's the bull flag continuation and a hold of 4. It's a 428 high a day. We're at 28 right now. Be on the lookout for the breakout.
Yeah, just be aware here. We have some comments coming from Caroline Levitt, White House press secretary. As far as I know, she's not giving a press conference right now, but she did say that Trump's speech at 1 p.m. Eastern today is going to be about the economy. I don't have more details on that, but either way, you know, I'll be watching that speech for you and I'll let you know. Just be aware. Apparently, the economy is the topic of Trump's speech at 1 p.m. today. Back to you.
Stuff, thank you. Yeah,
Joey.
Payco, you got something? Go ahead.
Okay, sorry. It's breaking out. THAR is going, guys. Another high day. Be on the lookout here. 32% and change. Taking out levels, Joey.
TARS, man. All right, there goes Apple with the breakout. You know what TARS is from, right?
No, bro. You always set me up for failure,
Well,
bro.
it's one of your favorite movies, though.
Which one?
Interstellar.
Oh, okay. The robot. Yeah. Okay, I did know that, Joey. Bro, there it goes. Joseph into 450. We're going to take out the $0.50. We're taking out the $0.50. Watch out, though. Big sell order coming in there. Nice move on THAR. All right, 453 high a day. We're showing 45s right now. Keep your eye on this name. The volatility is now picking up. It looks like someone got squeezed out of there because it was an aggressive move to the high side. I think somebody got caught short, and now they're getting right back in. Down we go again, Joey. Right back. Topping tail candle now. Be on the lookout here for weakness on THAR after that topping tail. Sorry to interrupt you,
No, man. Keep going ahead. All right. So, I mean, the market's breaking out. We got Tesla heading towards opening price. We got Apple putting in a new high of the intraday session. We have Nvidia still holding on. The Q's put in a new high of the day. SPY, everything along those lines. So let's take a look at some of the sectors. Why is SPY super hot? Let's go take a look at XLF. How's XLF been performing? Potential breakout there. We like that at the top end of the range. And this is what I was talking about on the bull flag here with Apple, guys. I mean, we're not going to call it, maybe we can, but whatever it is, a channel, bull flag, whatever we got going on, this consolidation, you have the lower end of the range. It touches it.
I don't like her.
What did she say?
Here, bro.
What did she?
She said zoom in. She can't see.
How do you? Okay, sorry.
Well,
sorry.
You know,
all right.
Look, I live in fear of Ram.
So that's your biggest fear.
I constantly live in fear of Ram.
That's your biggest fear.
She's like 4'1".
Ooh.
And
that's crazy. That's crazy, man.
I'm just joking, but I live
110 pounds of just pure attitude, man.
Always mean.
110 pounds.
Constantly mean.
Yeah,
she dunked on us yesterday?
What'd she do?
When we were doing the 6th, 7th day or the day before or whatever. She's like, now that you guys are doing it, it's not cool.
Once old men start doing it, it's probably old now. Like, yeah, all right, thanks for mean at the end of the day. All right. No, but in all seriousness, guys, yeah, exactly. He's like Milo. Like, Milo tries to act tough. I'm like, bro, you're not tough. Like, get out of here. You know what I mean? You weigh 12 pounds at the end of the day. No, but in all seriousness, guys, bull flag breakout there on AAPL, heading towards this pre-market high. I think this can be in the works. This is what I was talking about. You want to see that volume supporting that move, and then we got it. So keep an eye out there. And I want to keep my eyes on Tesla as well, too. Okay. If this breakout's going to be sustained, volume slowly starting to pick up, that's positive. Dare I go there? Yeah, let's go check it out, see if this is participating. Ooh, a nice hammer candle right at the volume-weighted average price. Am I intrigued? Absolutely. Let's get involved a little bit here. I'm such a sucker. It's not even funny. But yeah, let's get involved into some high VIT there at the VWAP hold tree.
Okay. All right, guys. THAR, we're out of that one. Obviously, on the spike down, I got out for a good profit, but now I want to get back in. Like a degen, I'm looking at getting right back in. So it's getting bought up right now. Bottoming tail candle in the 410 doesn't quite make it down into the 10 EMA on the 5. That's where I was waiting. I was waiting for a pullback into the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. I hope people know what I mean when I say 10 EMA on the 5. I'll try to say the full version from time to time in case you're a newer viewer. But this is getting bought up, so we're going to go long here, and we're going to defend into candle low. Candle low, as I mentioned, 410. So, Yeah, what do we got? We got 31s on right now. Okay, so let's set up some profit takers here for an area price spike. So we're showing 35s already. Let's see if we can get a little bit above that. 34s now as the selling comes in. And then we're going to put something right in front of that half draw. There's the print. Move up. A couple of prints right now. Still zigging and zagging. So there's really no continuation on the breakup, but we do get a couple of prints. I'm still going to put some DCAs to defend into the 10 EMA. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're going to wait into the mid-teens. Let's go and see if we can get something in and around 15. Down we go into the $0.25. Now this candle's red now. And we also got into SLDP for a breakout trade. I'll get to that one in a second, or I'll get to it right now. Nice move. So I took the 61 break. I like that level. Let's see if we can get it a little bit higher. We're going to wait into the 70s as well. There's 65 now on SLDP. I've got to manage this one and THAR. THAR coming down. We haven't quite gotten the DCA yet. Let's see if this candle makes a new low. So got bought up right there. What do we have now? 21s. Let's go ahead and post on THAR. Anything below 4 ends the trade for me. So it's really that simple with THAR. It's going to have to hold up at this level. So we've got 21s on, showing 19s. I'm waiting at 25s. Let's pack the patience there. Let's also look, though, at SLDP. We're taking prints to the high side now on this breakout trade. What do we got? 63s. We just got 69 and something else there. I think another one. So we'll keep tabs on that, Joey. What do you got over there, brother? Sorry, I didn't mean to set you up for failure.
Yo, you know what's funny? I had a feeling that was going to happen.
Yo, Ram said, what'd you say, Ram? Bro, she doesn't like oranges, and she'd appreciate you if you eat the oranges outside next time, okay, Joey? Yeah, attitude. You guys think she's got attitude? I mean, repeating word for word what she said.
I got 2.5 hours of this in my ear remaining. This is going to be insane. I don't even know what I'm going to do, which is insane. No, she doesn't like it. Literally, I open an orange in the morning. She turns around. Are you eating an orange?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, well, come on.
I didn't think it was going to trigger her that much, bro.
Like, to each their own, man. All right. Did we get involved yet in IBIT? No, we're waiting for this pullback, guys. I think that's going to come into play. I mean, you're 30 cents off of the volume-weighted average price, which is prime time Deion Sanders. So I like this for a potential move higher in the break of the high of the day of around 59 bucks. What I want to do, though, is take a look at the actual underlying. I gotta get these screens off here, and it's best if we do it on TradingView. We can go across a couple things to see if our algo picked anything up. I'm not seeing anything that it would have, but other than that, let's get into the Bitcoin talk and see how this is looking from a daily perspective. Boom, 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 and we'll head over to the daily. This is all some profit targets and everything along those lines. Ooh, what did it pick up today? It picked up something November 5th. All right. Cause stuff to do. Jeez, man. Geez Louise, brother. All right, so this isn't horrible, right? Like, if we want to see any form of a signal, we talked about it before. You have this engulfing volume print preceded by a hammer candle. I would like to see this a little bit more isolated, but if this remains strong, hopefully we can get a bounce back into the 10s, even the 12s. I'll be more than happy with that because I've just been selling premium, so the gains will be absolutely beautiful on that front. But other than that, guys, not too bad. If you look at a solid recovery, I'm not going to say it's the end of the selling in the crypto space because I don't personally think it is, considering that we're still on an inside day here on Ethereum. Oh, this is ETHA. All right, just in case anybody was curious what was going on there, some knocking. We got, I think it's Randy doing some hammering back there, or maybe Russ, our guy. But there it is for. Why is it doing this? Okay, thank you. No, don't apologize.
Get it, Russ.
3,300. So the support levels have been cracking, but again, once again, you have this really strong volume print. Buyers do step in a little bit. You want this to close complete today. You don't want to see very much selling pressure. Otherwise, you might be in a little bit of trouble, and this can signify more downside.
All right, guys, SLDP is not treating me well here. It treated me well to start, and now it's giving me fake signals, bottoming tail candles. All right, let's see if it moves back up, right back in, right into where I was going to get sorry, where I got in at 63s, now it's showing me 59s. I kind of feel like this one is in too much of a consolidative mode, quite frankly, and it has sequentially lower highs. It's that 880 area high, and then it's an 875 high, and then this latest candle that we're involved in right now, what has it got? It's got a 70 high, so I don't know. Look, it's got higher lows as well. That's what's keeping me involved in this name. But anyway, THAR right back up. We got 13s on. It's showing me 20s. Let's see if we can get that price spike into the 30s. I've layered the orders. 21s now showing up. 24s. There's another print there. Looking for continuation into the $0.25 and then into the third of a dollar. There's the $0.25 showing up on the ask side of the level 2. We'll have to cross to get the full print. But keeping my eye on THAR, let's see what this one has to offer. Packing my patience, Adara.
Let's talk here about Bitcoin. As we have Bitcoin coming into a bit of an interesting level here, this 103 have support showed up on Friday, October 17th. We blew through that yesterday. Right now, we're coming right up into that area. So we'll have to see how we fare here. But generally, we've bounced quite nicely from yesterday. Yesterday, quite the sell-off within the crypto space. Ethereum also getting hit. And so I looked a little bit into this, and we have some opinions from individuals with 10x Research and K33, so some of these crypto-related research firms saying that the evidence suggests that this is less forced liquidations and more larger whales or larger institutions taking profits. So this is, again, more of a profit-taking move here, especially, you know, we are around that key 100,000 level than people being forced out of their positions. So interesting analytical note there. BTC either way here, we'll have to see how we fare at this level because this level does appear to be interesting. Ethereum, meanwhile, a little bit away from that October 10th level of support. In and around 3,500 right now, trading just below 3,400, but nice rebound for both of these names. Let's see if they can continue that rebound today. Again, Ethereum, Bitcoin on watch after yesterday's weakness. See if they break that 2-day losing streak. Back to you.
Yeah, see that look that Myron was giving us when she walked in front of us? She eyeballed us, bro. She stared us down like a pitcher stares down a batter.
I didn't even hear what she said, but she mumbled something. I guarantee it wasn't very nice.
Oh my goodness.
I heard a little mumbling. It was like past the back end of the screen. And I'm like, oh man, all right, sorry.
Wow, Ram.
Just trying to live here.
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, hey, hope you're good. It's been a while. Yeah, Miss Yellow Dot, I was gonna say that we haven't seen you in the chat for some time. I hope everything is good with you, successful trading. I like what you're saying about a potential bull trap there. But yeah, thanks for coming back. And yeah, we most definitely missed when I seen your name. I'm like, hey, haven't seen that in the chat for some time. So I hope all is well with you. Now, as for Tesla, guys, continuing to grind. We're now north of that opening price, which is going to put us around 452. We're trading around 452.89s, which isn't horrible whatsoever. We're getting a steady grind in the overall market. Meta has yet to put in a new high of the day. It's struggling right here, but a solid pullback. I like our chances for this break, and I do believe that you can head up into the low to mid 40s in this name today, maybe even in the aftermarket, but you're probably going to get I shouldn't say this, but I think, excuse me, at some point you're going to get a gap up in this name, and it's going to be like 10, 15 points or whatever it may be. So good luck there, and then Bitcoin heading towards the high of the day too, Sharief.
Nothing, Fluffy Hippo. Absolutely nothing against it. But I got to have something to troll her with. You have no idea. She gets to hear everything about us, right? She hears like what Joey and I talking about. So she's got ammunition to make fun of us. We don't hear anything out of her, so we've got nothing. So we can just only go on that.
Fluffy Hippo, did you not see the screen a couple days ago? It's literally me sitting on the desk, bawling my eyes out. What did I do to deserve that?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Bro. We didn't do anything.
Nothing.
We get the heat, and they're on her side.
Yeah,
Look at Eclectic Passions. I am with you, Ram. Put those boys back in their place.
Man.
Prank needed. All right, man. We're getting dunked on here, Joey. We didn't even do anything. All right. Shout out to Ram. Obviously good. All in good fun. All right, guys. Let's cut the crap. SLDP, we're long. Where we long? 63s. There is a monstrous seller at 80. And from what we can see, too, it's not even what we can't see. There are, I think, over 20,000 lots posted at 880 on the dot. Now, I saw that at multiple gateways. It wasn't just one gateway. We're real close to getting another look at how many lots there are. We're at 76. I needed to mosey on up to 80. So we're doing real well here on SLDP, but we want a high day break and a squeeze into 9. I would just love that. But we're going to have to shake that seller at 80 who is pooping on everybody else's party right now. All right, here's what else is going on. We got this one, THAR, nice price spike up, generally holding the 10 EMA. But, you know, it doesn't feel like this one has a lot of buy support at this level. In fact, it actually feels that there's more sell resistance at 430 than there is buy support at 4. We'll have to wait and see. What do I got on this one? I got 11s. It's showing me 12s. I've taken out about, I've taken out half the position. This is THAR. Excuse me. No, I've taken out a quarter of the position. It's SLDP that I've taken out half. So, you know, I'd like to give this to 4. And the reason I say that is because you've got the volume weighted average price at $4. You've got psychological support at $4. So I'd like for it to hold generally at that area. Now, the deal is, though, the price action resistance, which should be support now that we've cleared it, isn't at $4. It's at 390. Look at this accumulation area right here on that initial bull flag breakup. It's a 390 area top, right? So if I'm looking for price action support, I'm not going to get it until 390. There it goes into 33. What a price spike up there. We get the fill. Let's see if we can take more here. 27 on the bid, 31 on the ask. I'm waiting next at 35, not clearing that area quite yet. But I want to show you the 80 seller. Where's that 80 seller? Oh, there. Okay, there's the 80 seller. We're taking him out. It looks like he's going to get killed. So here we go. We're taking out all the levels at 80. We don't quite take it out that time, but we did take out a lot of the sell orders out at 80, at least from what we can see. Probably a hidden seller there as well. I'm going to pack my patience here on SLDP. It feels like a flat top break in the making. It's up 56%, and I think this one squeezes into 9. It's just about a matter of packing the patience over here. So 76 is showing up, multiple bottoming tail candles as well on SLDP in accumulation of an 80 break. Now, you can always get the fail. There's no question about that. It's about really, the odds and whether or not we get a little bit lucky here with a bigger buyer stepping in. Joey, what do you got, my man?
Nothing. I'm just laughing at what Jameson said in the chat, man.
What did he say?
No, it's a joke, man. You can read what he said. I'm not going to repeat the screen.
Oh.
Okay.
Is that the desk?
Whose dog is that?
That's the desk.
Yeah, but whose dog is this?
I don't know. It's probably
just
like
a random dog there.
Yeah.
All right, Mike P, what's up, brother? Have you taken anything? Mike P, I'm curious to what you're looking at today in the chat. Rivian, what's going on with the FLWS, as you mentioned. Meta Dark Pool, you're mentioning there, Ozan as well, too. But I want to take a look at this FLWS, whatever Rivian put in there. FLWS, and see what this is here. 1,800 flowers. Okay, I have no idea what this is here, but it's not very liquid whatsoever. I think it's just putting it in the chat. But we'll go through a couple more names. I was looking at Google here earlier in the day. You're not too far from 284. What's this looking like from an all-time high standpoint? I don't think we're too far off of it, to be honest with you. Yeah, you're only about 2.5%, so nothing bad there. Who else we got? We'll go through a couple of the big names. Amazon, not too far off the all-time highs. I mean, 259 roughly. We'll call it 258. You're about 3% off of that level, but I think you want to pick this up all day, every day. Did it pick up any signals today on the old algo? Absolutely not. I don't see anything across the board that would suggest that it did otherwise. If it did, and if I seen something and it didn't pick up what I wanted, then I obviously have to do a little adjustment. So there it is, right there on the back of the screen, guys. We're back to the whole Trader TV live team.
Oh my God,
it's bright.
This is like quite blinding.
Yeah, it's very bright.
But it's actually quite good, man. Mark's done a lot of work, very, very little work.
And we're back. Okay. Okay. All right, Fabian's doing some work on it there. Yeah, it's looking absolutely phenomenal. Consumer and retail stocks rebounding, says Dinkelberg. Yeah, let's take a look at Walmart. Yeah, what's up, Mr. Berg, LWMT for Walmart, a nice rebound. Yeah, there you go. So not too bad. Consolidation off of the lows, and then now you're heading right back towards the opening price of the session. So good luck there. Hopefully this pullback on IBIT is relatively deep so we can get involved with it. But other than that, guys, one trade for me so far, and that's going to be on META. That was phenomenal. And to John, no, 100%, I swear down, I did not get shut down yesterday. I promise you that. And yeah, that's what it is, brother. Meta today was a pretty good trade. We're not going to complain whatsoever.
Sounds good, Joey, man. The dude has, as you know, We hit the dollar animation 9 times. $9 on Meta. And I couldn't be happier, Joey, that you're taking Meta long because you know exactly what we're up to.
I know what you're up to.
We're getting long Meta. So we haven't added any today. I don't even know if I'm out of the money or not on that. I'd have to look. Quite frankly, I don't care.
No. You bought some more yesterday, didn't you?
I bought, yeah, one.
Anyways, you bought
one
some.
chunk.
Oh, one chunk.
Yeah, we're gonna call it a chunk.
Joey.
All right, here's the deal, man. We took out that 80 seller on SLDP, but it wasn't the flat top break that I envisaged. We got to 883, but it looks like there was more selling right there because now we're down into 73. Alas, we're still holding trend. The higher lows, the higher highs, they're generally in play. So it's not a situation where I'm panicking or anything like that. But I'd like to see this one continue into 9. I think this one's got an opportunity. Let's see if it does. Now, one trade I've said very little about is NFE. I'm trying to build up my position here into VWAP. This is VWAP right here. So I just got the fill at 64. It's going to have to hold here. I'll give it a couple of shekels below VWAP, but I don't want to give it that much. So let's go ahead and throw that in there now. How many shares do we have? Okay, so we'll throw that on, and we'll keep an eye out on that. THAR, this one is coming down into the 10 EMA again. I want to see hold 4. So we got 09. It's showing me 09s. Let's see if it price spikes up and we can get something at around here. And then let's throw in some orders as well for a nice price spike up, possibly back into the 20s. So THAR still off the high, 453 high, generally at the 10 EMA, a little above VWAP. VWAP's at 402 now. So a little bit of an overlap between the volume weighted average price and psychological support, or what I perceive to be psychological support, of course, that $4 level. Let's see if we can get on this one. Yeah, nice price spike up. Probably gets me a whole bunch of prints. This one has a tendency to price spike up and down. So expect it kind of both ways there on THAR. So that's what I'm looking at there. Not much else to report. Of course, the ones that we brought to you earlier, SEDG, not really a small cap gapper, hanging at the 10 EMA, but unable to break above 39. APPS, not of interest to me because it's trading below VWAP. DTCK, I fumbled on this one. It lost VWAP and then it rocketed back up. So clearly it was, a bull. Well, it was a trap to get the bulls out of the trade. And then SRPT kind of recovering from the shellacking it took yesterday in the aftermarket, still below 19 bucks, 18.55 high a day. And last but not least, that SOLS one I've been talking about, higher lows but lower highs. It feels like this one could give some back here, Joey. All right, let's go back now to SLDP, because from what I see, it's at another high day. It took out, yes, another high, 884 high now. Well, how many shares do we have in SLDP? I don't want to take out too many, and we didn't reload over here. There's a seller at 80, so we'll take out some there, and then we'll look for a squeeze into 9. Joey, what do you got?
Yeah, Rook 78, to be honest with you, I think that's too near dated. I don't want to be a negative Nancy or anything along those lines, but you can see that on yesterday's session, we had some aggressive selling. I think this might be a little bit of a cover rally. This is almost a primetime V shape reversal right here. But see, the thing is, what I'm thinking is like, okay, you get a little bit of a relief rally, people covering, and then you get some buyers to step in. One thing that I'm going to be cautious about is from a daily standpoint is them sellers stepping right back in. Because right now, nothing's telling me that we're going to go and push past this all-time high. I mean, we're waiting on the earnings report. The earnings have been pretty good across the board against some of the bigger names already. CapEx is up there, everything along those lines. But just be a little cautious. You want to get it at the lower end of the range if that's the case. Just in case it does start to sell, then you can give yourself a little bit of breathing room, considering being up here at the 200s, which I still like, NVDA at 200. But at the end of the day, you have to risk significantly more, about $10 or so, and we want to keep those risk to reward ratios relatively tight. So that's NVDA. There's a couple things that I wanted to go through. Quantum, yeah, what's QS up to
it's who said that? It's T, what's up, yo? So I looked at it, Joey, clean.
It's going nice.
Clean.
It's really nice today on the session. Our guy Mike P said QuantumScape as well, too, earlier in the day. So do your thing, Mike P.
Get it, Mike.
Do your thing, brother. So there it is, a nice consolidation, right? So, I mean, this is insane stuff, guys. $4 all the way up to here, 300% almost from the middle of the summer. And then now you have this consolidation, inability to break 1520, and now climbing a little little bit higher. I like our chances on this. A break of this level, I think, is going to be prime time. This is that battery. I want to go, even though it's not correlated, I want to go over some of the quanta names. RGTI, so there it is, holding this 36 level. Watch for this to break, just in case it does. I think there's a good chance that it will. It's just going to take a little bit of time. Maybe you get an additional liquidity grab, but I don't think 44 is going to break whatsoever. Moving on to the next, that's going to be QUBT. That's not D-Wave, QBTS is. But again, you're at some support levels. Keep an eye on the break and then some indecision south of this in the $12 range. But there it goes, guys. From November of last year, you go on this monster run, 1,800% there. And then from November, almost a year ago today, you're up 1,700%. So that's a good time right there. I'm having a good time with that one. I don't own it or anything, but if you do, you're most definitely. Same thing will go to about a year out. You're up 2,000%. That's absolutely phenomenal. And then one more, we'll go over IONQ and see what it do. And then now, same thing, 52.90 is a potential level as well, guys. So keep an eye out on that. And then one more, Sharief,
yes,
my
sir.
good friend, Rich Tech Robotics, even though not correlated, all the way up to 750. Maybe we get involved in a little bit of Rich Tech, a lottery ticket, we're gonna call it.
Okay, sounds good, my man. All right, we're gonna look at SoFi over here for Eclectic Passions. Let's take a look at SoFi. I know the boys were singing the praise of SoFi this morning. Neil and Sean loving this one as well. They should, because this has been an absolute rocket. Joey.
Yes, sir.
I'm not gonna tell you, but I'd like you to guess, if you could, what's SoFi up on the year?
Percentage-wise?
Yeah, let's just go year to date.
325%.
Bro, take it easy.
150%.
94.
Okay.
So it is, yeah, okay.
Right. So I swing for the
It's
fence.
Hood. I mean, who do you think it is? Robin Hood?
I swing for that.
275% year to date on the hooded one.
Yeah, man.
And it's SoFi 94%. Those are great numbers, man. You know what else? Domo. Domo's another one, 86% year to date. You've got a lot of strength in some of these names, man. Melly, which is the South American one, up 33% today. But I don't think anything is as strong as these monsters. Look, I got to digress for a second here on SoFi. Sorry, Eclectic Passions. But yeah, my Thar trade is breaking out, taking out a whole bunch of levels there. So I just need to be alive to that and throw in some more beak wetters there. We got to wet the beak, my boy. Oh, that's a flat bottom break. That ain't it, Joey. So we're going to take some more profits here. Let's see if this one continues to run. I've got a couple of more profit takers there. Let's give this one some time. But let's look at SoFi intraday. So we know what SoFi looks like, of course, on the daily. It's a rocket ship. Yeah, we know. So a bit of a range today. I do like this ascending wedge pattern. Higher lows, very clearly higher lows. Area trough, area trough, area trough. All the while, that $29.95, $30 area is beckoning to get broken out from. Now, it's not really a level that we've used, ever really that much, aside from being, of course, psychological resistance. I'm talking about 30 bucks. But on the day, it feels like, you're picking it up at higher lows. That's how I would look at it. I would try to pick it up off the trend line here that I've drawn. You draw your own trend line, of course, but it looks fantastic for a dip trade into 30. And then, hold a piece for the dream for the break of 30 would be my suggestion there. SLDP, I got to go back to here because it's coming into my area. So where is it at? There it is. So I entered, obviously, SLDP for the breakout trade above 880. It's broken above 880, but it doesn't really have the juice to really flat top break aggressively. So I don't even have that many shares left on SLDP. I don't even know why I'm worrying so much about it. Let's go ahead and throw in a stop. We're going to give this one a little bit of room. I want to give it about, 5-6 pennies. So we'll go just like that, and we'll throw in that stop there, Joey. How about the other one? THAR, we were singing this one's praise. Now look, THAR is a bit of a bamboozler here because it's putting in a whole bunch of lower highs, and it's got the same area low. The same area low is around that volume weighted average price. I'm going to take more off here because this one feels like it is destined to break down. So we'll take off a little bit there. Oops. No, we didn't quite get that. There, we'll take off that break. It's not even giving it to me. Jeez Louise, bro. There we go. We'll get that print, and that'll de-risk a little bit. So you got lower highs, essentially, on THAR since that topping tail candle at 11.25. I don't know if that's the move for me right now because it's making, very, very obviously lower highs with that $4 area. So I've taken off some here. In fact, I think I'm going to flatten out here. No, I don't know if that's the right move, man. I don't think that's the right move. I don't think I'm going to do that. No, in fact, I'm not going to.
Okay.
I will take this one off, though. NFE, we're going to take an L on that. So that one's done. That one will be a loser for me. We didn't even take one print on this one. It just lost VWAP. It had no support at the volume-weighted average price. I'm happy you got out of that one. So those are the only two I'm involved in. SLDP, THR, we're positive on both. We give back a little bit there on NFE. That's the cost of doing business, Joey.
All right, man.
Hold on, there's more questions here. Sorry. Top VOIP. Hey, would you have a look at ASST? It has unusual options activity 2 weeks ago and starting to take off here with volume. You're not the first person to mention that. In fact, I think you're the second person to mention that. SoFi at $30 again, guys. Here we go. Told you that $30 was going to be a level ASST. Great breakout trade here on AST. This one's earned its way onto the side chart. We're going to take off that hot garbage NFE. We're going to put on ASST. Thank you very much. Look, I like this higher lows trend. Very clear support generally at the 20. Doesn't look like it's respecting the 10 all that much. It's kind of going back and forth. I'd be picking this up on dips. Whether you want to get the more aggressive dip trade at the 10 or more of the money fills at the 20, take your pick. It's got obviously that 150 resistance that we're going to be looking at sooner rather than later because we're at 147. Let's look at the 30-minute here, Joey. Okay, so nice. We haven't been up at these levels since the 29th of October. If we get above 150, there will be a gap between 150 and then I want to say that 175 area is going to be resistance up to 2. So be on the lookout for that. ASST looking real good here, man. This could be a nice continuation trade, Joey.
All right, good stuff, man. I'm just looking at some of the earnings lineups for tonight. This is insane, man. This might be my favorite. This might be my favorite evening. So best believe I will be at home trading some of these names. So Hood, AppLovin, IONQ, Qualcomm, Dutch Bros, Figma, Snap, AMC, Duolingo, Sharief, ARM, DoorDash, Joby, Elf, Lyft. And need I go on? Fortinet, everything, a lot going on tonight. Lucid Group as well too. So a lot. Oh, Roots. Okay, so I don't think that's Roots Canada, but anyways, yeah, there's a lot going on tonight. Yeah, Joby.
I'm terrified. MP Materials as well, I think, reports, don't they?
Let's see.
Are they there or are they tomorrow? I remember they were around. Joby, that hot garbage, is reporting after the bell today, and that has me worried.
I'm not seeing them right now, but hey, man, we'll take a look at it. Dynavax, I don't really. ZipRecruiter, okay, there's a lot going on tonight, guys.
Tomorrow, people are saying.
Absolute star-studded lineup. There's a couple things that we're going to go over right now on the options chain. That's going to be from my guy TP and the individual who's asking about, sorry, I forget who it was asking about the Robinhood earnings. Robinhood, some options activity, considering. He's like, yeah, I might YOLO some calls. Don't do that, please and thank you, because it's not fun. You're not going to have a good time if it doesn't work in your favor. Out the money IV. So look at this. Options market already pricing in a move there. We'll go over. We have a big time list. So later on in a half an hour or so, we'll go over the expected moves of all of them. I know Adara is going to be posting that on X as well too, with the earnings report, expected moves, everything, etc. So keep an eye out there. There goes Meta's breakout to 639.26. Thinking about buying a little bit there, but there it goes. I think we're going to hit 45s or something along the lines today. So not too bad of a look. But anyways, back to what we got going on Robinhood. 2 days till expiration. Where's our concentration of open interest to do the highest levels of gamma exposure? I think 155, 18,300. We do have a little bit at 150, nothing substantial. Put side, nothing crazy going on. Ooh, that is interesting though. At that $130 level, that's probably going to be around your low on the options chain today, about a $10 move. 15,400 contracts still currently open with only 1,400 traded on the session. So there's Robinhood, and then we'll also look at INTC. They were looking at, so INTC November 21st. We'll go over to that expiration cycle. 1 second, Adara. Let's see what we got going. Options, OI is going crazy. At what specific strike price? 45 calls. Yeah, 121,000. Good call out there. That might be a call wall, guys, so you can maybe sell a little bit below that. Adara, shout out to Paul Wall, and the call walls. Adara, what do you got?
Shout out to Paul Wall, and also take a look here at Delta DAL. I'm seeing here apparently House Democratic lawmakers are wanting the CEO of the company to answer questions on the use of AI when making ticket pricing decisions. Not really moving the stock, but either way here, sounds like we might get Democratic lawmakers questioning the CEO of Delta with regards to how AI is used for ticket pricing. Back to you, DAL.
All right, so yeah, there it is, guys. Momentarily we'll go through all the expected moves, but first, I'm still on the hunt. I want to see if I can find something to get involved with. I'm looking at Robinhood, nice channel to the upside. I'm looking for some indecisions and some strong candles here. I'm not seeing that. For my liking, personally, we're too extended from VWAP, and that's going to be on SPY, the TQs, NVDA, Tesla, Meta. Rivian is still going parabolic right now. There's nothing stopping this thing. Yeah, all the way up to 1467.
Squeezed.
Yeah, so $13. So you're getting over a $1.30 move right there on Rivian. So that's not a horrible look whatsoever. Just steady and up and to the right. That's a pretty good and blowing past some short signals. So that's going to be an all-day grinder, I'm thinking, guys. Anything specific that you want to look at, then we'll go over it. Julian, anything for you, my friend? CRCL, see what Circle's been up to. Liquidity issues here, I can tell by just looking at it. So you can see you're getting these gap ups on the 5-minute time frame.
15.5% short on Rivian, by the way, Joey.
Oh yeah, so yeah, there you go. You're getting some people probably getting squeezed out a little bit there. And then if you head into the 1 minute, not good whatsoever. What are we looking like from a daily perspective? Oh, jeez. All right.
Nice sound, right?
Yeah. It's like
Great.
nails on the old chalkboard there. But oh well, he's got to do his thing, man. Do your thing, Russ.
Of course. I just got to troll him a little bit.
Yeah. What do I think about QCOM, says Adi? But there it is on Circle, right? You're at some lower ends here, 109.72. What a monster run this went on. You're down substantially. Hopefully you're not one of the individuals who's bag holding this right now, considering you're down 62%. One more before we send it off to Sharief. QCOM. All right. Oh, it's already that time. QCOM. I thought that we were going to get a little bit more of a sustained breakout, but you can't deny the trend here. The secondary trend is still up and to the right. We like that 100%.
You like saying up and to the right?
Is that what you always say, right?
No, I don't always say it. I stole it as well, but I'm just asking if you like saying it.
I usually say northeast.
Hey, yeah, same thing.
Yeah, northeast. Up and to the right, northeast. Same. Yeah, northeast.
I like when the chart goes up to the right.
Because we're the north side. But I think it's time for happening now. And then Neil's lesson of the day.
Really nice push up here for the S&P 500. In fact, the high of day here only just slightly below yesterday's high of day. So generally here, a good recovery for the SPY. If we zoom out, though, we're still well below where we were trading around Monday and last week. I do have to talk about a couple things happening right now. More on the political and macroeconomic side of things. So currently, this has now been going on for 2 hours. I have been listening to the Supreme Court oral arguments for the Trump tariff case. And what's interesting here is as these are happening, we're seeing some of these prediction markets, for example, Polymarket and Kalshi, actually lowering the chances that the Supreme Court sides with the Trump administration on these tariffs. Kalshi currently has now a 21% chance here that the Supreme Court will uphold these tariffs. Also here, apparently, keep an eye on Joby. I'm just seeing something here on Joby as well. Apparently, the CPO of the company is saying they're in the final lap to getting certification. So keep an eye on Joby. Joby reports earnings later this week, but we have to talk about a couple names that are reporting earnings tomorrow. We've got, tonight after the bell, Robinhood here, and then also Snapchat, and there it is, SNAP. So a couple earnings plays. We also have Lucid after the bell. You've got another one after the bell here, AppLovin, and you can find infographics for all of those, the earnings previews on X at GTV Research. So certainly keep an eye on that if you are interested in looking at what the street's looking for from these reports and what they reported last quarter as well. Now, one more thing I do want to say here, at 1 p.m., so in about an hour from now, Trump is set to give a speech in Miami. Caroline Leavitt, is the White House press secretary, just recently indicated that the speech is going to be about the economy. So certainly stay tuned, and you guys know I'll be covering that for you live here on Trader TV Live. Before we send you back to or over to Neil and his lesson of the day, we'll take a moment to thank our good friends at Origenics, because each year, 3.8 million concussions are reported in the U.S., but there's still no FDA-approved treatment. NYSE-listed Origenics, OGEN, is changing that with its first in-class intranasal drug designed for rapid brain access. With the concussion treatment market projected to reach $8.9 billion by 2027, Origenics is uniquely positioned to lead the way. Learn more. Schedule a meeting today. Back to Neil and his lesson of the day. Neil, take it away.
Thanks, Adara. Lesson of the day, I got to give an assist to Sharief because I heard him talk about a stock and he said, oh, this stock doesn't have does have the juice. And then the second I heard that word, there's a movie back when I was younger in junior high with Tupac was in it, Omar Epps. But there's a line from the God MC, or a little bit of a quote from the God MC, Rakim, in one of his songs, where he said, coming out of the building, they set me up. Sprayed with automatics, they wet me up. And in a puddle of blood, I lay close to the edge. I guess I didn't know the ledge. And if you know that movie or you know that song, it's all about a couple of kids or a group of kids that got in over their heads and thought they had what they didn't, thought they were rolling stronger than they were, all of that stuff, and things get out of hand. And in trading, that can be the same thing that happens to you too, where you think you've reached a certain level where you can turn any trade into a winning trade, or like every setup's an A+ setup, but you could be standing in front of a moving freight train or just getting yourself blown up. And it's in those types of situations, like you recognizing where you might be in something that, okay, it seems like a regular setup, but you might have something a little more dangerous than your regular trade. And I'm gonna give an example here of one that I got away with on Rivian, where I think, like, I kind of broke a rule here, right? Like, it's an all-day trend break, and I don't enter it at the time that I should. I mean, I get the prices that I want. If I have the right price and I adhere to my stop, like I'm taking the trend break and I'm taking that breakout, and I'm sort of getting out on that breakup trade. But there's a subtle difference about this, right? Like, I'll take the hit on Rivian, but oddly enough, I actually ended up, despite this looking like a trade, you'd see me take them like 10 times out of 10, I risked less than half what I normally would on this trade. But the question would be why? It's an all-morning trend break on a parabolic mover with potential of up, potential of room to go to the downside. Why would I take less shares on it? Here's the answer. Because it was also a little bit more dangerous. There's a difference between taking that setup and not zooming out and realizing, okay, they just reported earnings. This is the price I'm getting when I shorted it. It's just broke out that $14 level. So on a higher time frame, and I can use a 15-minute to kind of look at that same point. Like, yes, it is a standard setup for me. Look at the candle on the 15-minute as well. It's set up on that 15-minute reversal. Here, I'll zoom in so you can see that a bit better. Like on the 15-minute, it also sets up pretty well, so I get my price right in there. My stop was a prior bar high on a 3-minute, so it's not gonna matter. But why take less? Because the $14 level, like right here, where I'm looking to play it back into, and I'm short essentially at like 30s, a couple of points away from that, that's a breakout on the daily. Now, if that same setup happened when the stock was at 15.5 or something, then it's regular risk. But in this particular case, I know that it has twice as much chance, in my opinion, to run me over, despite being a good setup, because the higher time frame says it's a breakout trade, so you can size down on it. You can also not take the trade at all. That's a perfectly reasonable thing to do as well. And I had a similar notion with AMD. As the Sharief gives the AMD. No, AMD broke trend, but with AMD, if I zoom this one out and sort of give it, I don't have to go to the daily chart, it doesn't really tell you the story, but if I look at AMD and where it turned, like I was shorting it initially off of this prior support, like there's the trend break off the 250. Like there weren't a lot to work off of. And then I took another one in here with a relatively tight stop, not trying to risk as much. Why? Because once it's back above that 250 level, it's just a different trade. There's breakout room until you get to the top end of the range, like 57, 58, where you have a much better setup up there. So if even like 50 can be an A+ setup, but here at like 52 can be a C or a B. And the only way you can play that is I can still take it, I can take it for less, or I can use a tighter stop, whatever it is, I'm risking less than I was risking here. And then I wait for that better opportunity. Sometimes you've got a group, and these are all trend breaks. Like it's a trend break in the middle of the day, which I'll take all the time. But each of them are distinctly different based on what I see on a higher time frame. So it's understanding it, yeah, sure, I'm still gonna take the trade. Even if the market seems like it's trending up and all that stuff, mean reversion's part of the game. Like if you take mean reversion trades, you are going to be shorting strong stocks. You are going to be you're going to go long on some things that are weak. But you should also be able to identify that higher time frame, which can allow you to recognize the difference between an A setup or B setup, where you might want to take risk down a little bit. It could be a time of the day thing. Whatever it is for you that separates the A setups from the B setups. For me, it's that higher time frame and recognizing, hey, once it's past a certain level, It's a breakout on the higher time frame, so I have to be able to recognize that it's not as good of a reversion short as it would have been underneath price X, whatever that might be to you. So just kind of like Tupac didn't know the ledge in the movie Juice, he thought he did, you got to make sure you know where it is and where you can save yourself some risks. There's your lesson of the day, and if you haven't checked out that movie, I know I'm old, it's a very good one. Omar Epps was absolutely fire in that one, and Tupac was a great actor in his day. Good luck, everyone.
Netflix pushing higher here, NFLX, and that's because I'm seeing a headline here suggesting that the company is going to be rolling out new modular ad formats globally by Q2 2026. So again, Netflix planning on rolling out new modular ad formats across the globe by Q2 2026, and NFLX pushes higher. Back to you.
Yeah, good stuff there. Here's Netflix, guys. You're getting that breakout from roughly 1100 there, now climbing higher. So not too bad of a look whatsoever. Nice volume spike as well too, guys. So thank you very much for that, Adair. I was keeping my eyes on what Netflix was up to. Market's starting to come back in a little bit. Nothing substantial. Selling volume and pressure relatively cool, which isn't bad whatsoever. IBIT coming in as well too, so keep an eye out on that. Rivian starting to peak maybe, possibly. I wouldn't be standing in front of this personally. As you can see, 1486 is going to be that high roughly, and it's just every 5-minute candle. If you go to the 15, there's probably isn't a red one. Okay, you got one. If you go to higher time frames, probably not going to see any there. 30-minute. No red candle on the intraday session, guys. So a pretty solid look in Rivian. So shout out to Rivian Millionaire and Company. Keeping eyes on Netflix. I like that NFXL 2x leverage there, but I'm not going to be grabbing it up here. Volume is supporting this move as you punch through some pre and post market highs, which is a beautiful, beautiful thing. If you zoom out to the daily, you're starting to bounce off of these lows too, Sharief. So Netflix we like, and the same thing with Meta. It's starting to formulate how we want it to, right? So continue, be patient on this one, and I think there's going to be some solid opportunities. Could this just be a breath within this downtrend? Maybe, but I like our chances around that 620 level. We did see a put wall around 630. Is that going to be coming into play? So are people selling puts? How's that grown in size? Let's zoom out. Let's get off of this screen. Head over to the old options chain and see what we got going on that front. If that put wall is holding up or it has grown in size, because that is extremely, extremely important. Importante.
Importante.
Sí.
Is that a word?
Yeah.
Is that like how you say important in Spanish?
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Okay, so there it is. Portuguese as well. It says
Portuguese as well.
Of course, it says
I like.
cinturón, belt. Campeón. I love how the Portuguese say champion. Campeón. All right, did I say it right? Asesino, 630. Hey, campeón. See, there it is, 630, 5,370 contracts still open. So it was a little bit larger. 600 is most definitely that put wall. If we climb a little bit higher, you can see that 730 or 720 might be in the works for META. That's in 72 days. What am I doing on this? We got to get a little bit closer, Joseph. Get it together. So we're back to 630. 12,700 contracts at that level, 12,300 at 650. I think that could be most definitely in the works for META.
Switz, I think you're talking about champignon. That's mushrooms, not campione. That's different. Joey, bro, let me tell you.
Tell me.
You know Mike from the other side, Michael? He sits around Rob and Randy and that crew over there.
Yeah.
Well, this guy is better than ChatGPT.
Is he?
Yes. Well, what? I'm not saying anything, Randy. He helps me my Mandarin. So he's fantastic. So here's the deal. There's a word in Mandarin called hen.
Oh yeah, I know, Michael. Yeah.
Right? Hen sometimes means is, are, am, and completely innocuous. So you say you're beautiful. You say ni han piaoliang, right? You are beautiful.
Yeah.
But sometimes hen means very.
Very.
So if I was to say wo hen lei, I am tired. I am very tired. So sometimes it means very, and sometimes it means is, are, or am.
Yeah.
And I have no idea when to basically know when it just means, And your boy Michael came up with a trick, fantastic trick. I'll give it to you guys when we get back from Adair.
Keep an eye here in SBUX. I'm seeing a report from Bloomberg saying that unionized Starbucks baristas are preparing to go on strike next week. So again, Bloomberg reporting that unionized Starbucks baristas are preparing to go on strike by next week. Back to you.
Yeah, so The trick is to kind of understand like the context. So like you have to practice different contexts. So for example, if you're saying I am something, then likely you're talking about, you know, being I am very. But if you're referring to something else or like an object, then you kind of know it doesn't mean the very aspect. It just means like that is or isn't something. And so like, do you learn that in Duolingo? No idea.
Absolutely
And
not.
so I always thought Duolingo was making a mistake because it wasn't saying feichang, which means like extremely or very. It was just saying hen without it. And so again, the deficiency in Duolingo is so apparent to me. And if I'm finding this to be a problem, then other people are finding this to be a problem too.
Absolutely.
And like it doesn't give you the option to understand it somehow, to ask it questions, to inquire. Like this is not the way to learn a language, by blindly telling someone in certain cases it is what it is. You know what I mean? And that's why I feel like the product is deficient in some way, shape, or form. And I really do think that they would benefit greatly from some sort of AI in there that you could interact back and forth with the learner, man.
Well, hopefully, Sam, I wouldn't be surprised. Next headline, Sam Altman strikes a deal with Duolingo.
Dude,
$15 billion.
Who hasn't Altman struck a deal with yet? And that's the thing, like, strike a deal with Duo. Help me out, man. No, seriously, obviously, Joey, it's easy to go back and forth between chat and Duo. It's not hard. You take screenshots of what you want. You don't even have to type it in. You take screenshots, you can read the screenshot, but it just makes it seem like a better product, especially if you're, you know, aiming up 160, 170 bucks a year for this program. You know, give me an LLM, something.
Have you gone to Chinatown yet and been like gone in any of the shops and talked to anybody?
Absolutely not, man. We got plenty of Mandarin-speaking people back here.
Yeah, 100%. But I'm saying you can go into Chinatown, right, and be like go in the store. And I found that like with Chinese people, they get so baffled when you speak their language.
Away. Yeah, you should see the reaction of people in the kitchen when they hear me speaking Mandarin. I love it though, man. I love it.
That's good stuff.
All right, man. All right. Little rant of the day. I do apologize about that. All right, guys. Here's the deal. We're in ASST right now. We're long 43s. We just wet the beak at 46s. I had a couple of DCAs, man, that didn't trigger. I'm talking about the one at 41, which was to defend the 20, and then the other one here at 39 to defend the volume weighted average price. Look, it's great that we're finding support at the 10, but we are still putting in lower highs. Why do I say that? We'll take a gander at the 1155 candle on the 5. That goes into $1.49. We need to clear that $1.49 to maintain set trend of higher highs and higher lows. I'm going to wet the beak here at $1.48 just to de-risk. We'll see what we get, and we will not get upset. Shout out to my man Neil. DTCK is starting to go. I think I took this one off. I did. Let me just put it on here. Take off. Well, I want to keep QuantumScape on there. I'm going to keep my eye on QuantumScape. But DTCK, one that we've been watching a lot lately, just took out the high of the day. But this is a bamboozler. The bamboozler in chief. Sometimes it finds support at the 10, like it has been since the 1130 candle. But then, as you can see, that 1130 candle not only lost the 10, the 20, it also breached VWAP. So I'm going to have to trade this one a little bit differently with wider spreads and or more strategic stop placement. So I'm going to keep my eye here on DTCK. I don't mind jumping into this one, but right now, it's not even giving you that much in terms of notional. I mean, it's got 550 at VWAP. Okay, maybe it is. 550 at VWAP, 632 high at day. It's not too bad. Let's see if it holds up at 6. So here it is again at 605, and it's been consolidating at 6. I want to say since when? When did it claim 6? 1141. So almost 45 minutes now of defending $6. Let's see if we can get into something here a little bit, Joey, and see if we can step in and get a backstop from that $6 buyer. So I'm in here, I'm in at 12s. Let's see what we can get on this one. I don't mind averaging into 6, but 6 will be the line in the sand because, well, it's defended it. So we'll see what we get. We won't get upset. Sorry to keep repeating that, but that's what I'm looking at right now. Let's see if we can get a nice price spike up.
All right, good stuff there. Guys, I'm still looking for some things. I do like this channel that Bitcoin's forming. So you can see that we have the steady uptrend here, and you're continuously bouncing off it. So there might be some good opportunities there. If it breaks the lower end of this trend line, then obviously you want to get out, be patient, and then see if you get any other entry points. But this isn't horrible whatsoever. A couple down bars, but the steady trend is to the top side. So look to participate on that front. Market's still steady grinding higher. Meta coming in a little bit off of that 640.99, so almost hitting 641 there on META. Anything interesting going on in the options chain? We can take a look at the SPY. We never really do with those 0 DTEs. At the money IV is relatively cool. So as soon as that comes up, 16.2%. It was significantly cooler earlier in the week before we had that selling around 4% on those 0 DTEs. But here it is, guys. Lots of volume you're going to see through some of these strike prices. The most is at the money right now with 608 at that 680 strike price, 265,000 contracts. And I mean, I understand why people get involved in these. This is 62 bucks. Why not, right? You can just buy that to see if it's going to trend. So yeah, some good things coming around these neck of the woods is what I'm hearing through the grapevine. I like that 110%. Now, as for the IBIT trade, there it is, that bounce coming into play. We can run through our scanner as well to see if there's any setups through the top volume names. What's PFE up to? Pfizer, pins, that was getting slacked earlier today. Yeah, big time move to the downside in pins, in Pinterest there, Sharief, and still continuously bleeding. So hopefully that isn't going to bleed out. We don't want that. AMD continuing to climb higher. So it seems like the steady trend on today's session. If the selling is going to step in, I would assume maybe around 2 o'clock or later in the session, when all the boys on Wall Street get back from lunch. SoFi, what have you been up to? I thought you were up around 300%. No, that wasn't the case. AAL, steady to the top side there. Some of these airline names starting to climb higher. Whenever I eat an orange, for some reason, I always choke up on it. So there it is, 13 bucks. iBit, what are you doing? Bounce off of there. Engulfing print here, but you can still see it's an inside day. So until we break through that, I want to see us climb into 62, 63s. That's going to be absolutely beautiful if we do get that case. And Mara coming in as well. You're down substantially off of that breakout high. 30% roughly, so that's a tough look. Unity, what are you up to? A gap up here, but coming in off of that 42 high to 39.33. BMNR, head over to the daily on this, see what that's been. Again, same channel trading there. And one more here, Wolf. TeraWolf, not doing too much either. So I'm not seeing anything from a setup standpoint that I particularly like, and that's okay. I'm going to sit on my hands and wait for some solid opportunities. HIMS at the volume-weighted average price, and that's what I want to see. Some of these names at VWAP giving me the opportunity to go long. What is some of the D-Wave? Sharief was bringing us news on this as well, too, this morning, 30.75. AMDL, this is going to be a 2x long, not too much. NCLH, some of the cruise lines, Norwegian cruise lines there, daily. Ooh, that's ugly, that's ugly. That's a big-time move to the downside there, Sharief.
Let's see the weekly on that, Joey. Is that the one that was doing it, or was that RCL?
You know, for me to go to the weekly, it's a hit or miss here, Sharief.
Okay.
All right, you ready? Hold on, we're doing it. All right, man.
Yeah, that's
so
not the one.
You got to take the chances, brother. If you don't take it, 36% off of that previous high. So not too good of a look in some of these cruise lines here, brother.
Yeah, that's interesting there. Let's take a look at the cruise lines. Yeah, they're all up except NCLH. And in fact, NCLH is the only one that's down on the year, Joey. They're all up. CCL up 9. RCL up 12 3/4. LIND, not one that I really trade, 8.8. XLF. Why is XLF there? That's not supposed to be there.
You're be in the cruise lines,
it moved accidentally, Joey. I don't know if that's supposed to be there. We're going to take that bad boy off. But LIND, so it's the only one that's actually negative on the year. Interesting. All right. Yeah, I don't have much to say right now. We're in a DTCK, looking for continuation and a hold above 6. We'll see if that one ends up going. I also have a breakout trade on THAR. It's going to have to get above 16 or so, 416, for me to take that bad boy long. Again, I'm still holding ASST here for a nice move into that area high, still holding the 10 EMA. We've got 44s on at the moment. Let's see if we can get up into 48s or so. Trend generally holding. I want to say SLDP still trading near highs, but it feels like, you know, a whole lot of accumulation at this top 880, still an annoying level despite the fact that we've gotten above 880, 884. So don't look for the, you know, the penny break or the 2 penny break. It's going to have to be a decided move above 880, because whoever is getting short there and or taking profit is getting short and or taking profit at multiple levels. I'm talking, you know, 881, 882, all the way up into 4s at least. That's the highest we've seen so far on the day. I want to digress for a moment here and talk about Polestar. Okay, so as you know, if you've been watching the show for a while, this is one that I've had in my long-term account as sort of a lottery ticket. It's very, very ugly looking chart coming, you know, from much, much higher. But something happened to this stock here lately that's really changed its tune. It had been holding the dollar to stay in compliance with the Nasdaq requirement, of course, trading above the dollar, and it lost that. It lost that after the last earnings date in early September, and now, I think as of last week, actually, it got the letter. The dreaded compliance letter, of course, from the listing exchange. We're talking about the NQ, that they got to get their stock above a dollar or risk delisting. So I had a bit of a, you know, a sneaking suspicion about this one, that this one was artificially being kept above a dollar. You know, whether by the company or by, you know, some other entity striking a deal with the company to ensure compliance, whatever the case, it's now losing the dollar and losing it substantially. I'm long 87 pennies, so now I'm at like 8 pennies out of the money, and I was a lot worse because this one dipped into 69. So what I'm trying to say, very, very long-winded way of saying, I think there may be something in store for this one, whether or not, you know, it gets taken private by Geely or Volvo, or whether or not, you know, there's some sort of reverse split coming, but something's going to be afoot with this company. The only reason I got into this thing, because we see so many of these cars all around Toronto. I want to say that after Teslas, I see maybe the Mustang Mach-E rivals it a little bit, but I see Polestars, I want to say, second after Teslas. That hasn't obviously resulted in the fundamentals for the company being solid. Otherwise, the stock would have reflected that. So something's afoot here with Polestar. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I wanted to mention this for anybody else who's interested. Now, we are at interesting levels over here. Recall the double bottom that we put in June and July of 2024, where we held 70 pennies. We dip into that level yesterday, and we're getting bought up. So I'm not telling anybody to buy it here. I wouldn't tell anybody to buy it. This is a lottery ticket. I want to make that very, very clear. But yeah, I just wanted to mention and go on my little rant there about Polestar, because I think that we may see something here from the company sooner rather than later. Let's talk about some of these trades that we've got on still. No breakout trade yet on THAR, as that one continues to trade below the volume weighted average price. My SLDP trade is done until this one clears 80 decisively. I'm not talking about a couple of pennies above the 80 penny area. It's going to have to clear it and clear it decisively for me to get involved. And then last but not least, DTCK. We're still holding this. We're in the money by a penny, and I'm not getting the add into 6 as a result of the spread. 3 pennies right now, but I've seen it a little bit wider. So those are my looks right now, guys. Nothing really new for me. I'm keeping an eye on QuantumScape, as I mentioned. QS coming into the 10 EMA on the 5, but I need to see a first 5-minute candle to make a new high to get in, and that will have to, based upon the previous candle, it'll have to get above 17 2/3 for me to punch long here, Joey. So those are the ones I'm looking at right now, and we'll see what else comes of this.
All right, so I'm saying, has no one seen what Ford and GM are up to? Yeah, so I mean, it's moving with the car space as well, too, some of these vehicle producers. GM looking pretty good. Ford, where are you up to? Yeah, I mean, it's steady northeast there, guys, so not too bad. Who wants to short AMD, says Hangry Wife. Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. We can pull up AMD, yeah, and as it's putting in a new high, 254.65 is where we're currently trading at. You should have a definitely. That's crazy, Jake. No, definitely not here. I think you gotta save that for the weekends, my good friend. Now, as for NVDA starting to come on the backside of a specific trend here, you can see that being displayed. It's too tough to short this name. So essentially, what I was talking about yesterday, we have this wedge that we are forming, and it's just an additional liquidity grab before it decides to tank multiple points. So I'm like, I would rather avoid shorting these strong names, because at any given moment, it's like, oh, okay, NVDA turns up with teams up with so-and-so striking a multi-billion-dollar deal, and then sure enough, you're getting blown out of the water going short AMD and NVDA. So now let's get off of Ford and see what we got going on. MSFT. Was Microsoft. Ooh, okay, so it's bleeding today, not participating with the overall market. Bastoni says good time to enter Microsoft call, are still early. Let's take a look at the daily. We're going to do that right after we get back from Sharief.
All right, Joey, and now for some exciting news out of Canada for the sophisticated traders on the stream. Beta Pro by Global X Canada, Canada's largest provider of leveraged, inverse, and inverse leveraged ETFs. They've just launched 6 new triple leveraged ETFs. They're offering you guys 3 times bull as well as 3 times bear exposure. to things like the S&P TSX 60, semiconductors, and U.S. Treasuries. And if you want even better, they're offering better. They're offering you guys a special fee rebate. They're dropping management fees down to just 65 basis points until New Year's Eve. Yes, December 31st, 2025, plus the U.S. focus strategies use currency hedging, so offers the potential for pure performance as well as exposure. So if you're tactical and you're a sophisticated trader looking to amplify your performance, check out, I should say, betapro.ca/3x daily to learn more. Scan that QR code right there, Assassino. It's pretty easy there. So shout out to Beta Pro by Global X.
One more thing before I send it back to you there, Sharief. So Microsoft, guys, same thing. You got to be cautious of what's going on here as you're heading into some key support levels. I wouldn't be surprised if this snapped at some point and you head into the 500 level. So just be cautious of that. We can pull up the chain and see what the at-the-money IV is, because that's really important. When we start to cool down, that can give us a signal like, hey, we're ready to kind of grind higher, because we know that volatility cools off when you are trading higher. There's not fear within the market. So as for the at the money, 25.9%, that's pretty high for Microsoft there, guys. But other than that, 2 days until expiration, we want a little bit more time. Always by the time. We'll go over to a further date of November 28th. That's going to be 23 days. I can't believe it's already the 5th. Which is insane.
Bro, it's crazy.
Yeah, time flies, man.
But can I say to you, bro, I know you love like the heat and the humidity, and I respect all that. I don't get it, but I respect it. It's been really nice.
It has.
For November, brother.
You know what, Sharief? I like the heat and the humidity, but I also like a cool evening as well too. I like a nice cool evening. Yeah.
You're not always sweating, bro. Like
tough to breathe. No. No.
Like,
honestly, like I think Toronto, like late September, early October evenings are phenomenal, right? I love them.
But we typically get really crappy weather. Say like from Halloween on.
Usually,
right?
usually.
Halloween's a deadline, typically.
It is. It's always raining on Halloween for like the past, I
remember snowing, flurries, not snow, during trick-or-treating when I was a kid.
Surprisingly, so over my past couple of birthdays, in my 20s, October 5th was cold, typically cold. Like you're getting those 4 or 5 degrees, you know what I mean?
No, man, I'm not arguing with you. You weren't in the city, though. You were a little bit north. You were in the Highlands.
No, even in my 20s when I lived here. I always found it. Listen, there's a night, I think I showed Sharief the picture of me just having a great time. I tarp off, it's like 4 degrees. Like, what are you doing, man? That's the effects of tequila. But I mean, in all seriousness.
Tequila, I like that. I like that. Blame it on the tequila, right, Joey?
100%, man. It's the majority of the time. But as for Microsoft, not too bad. Big smile. He said, so what do I think?
Who's he bullying now?
No. I'm surprised. It was a genuine question here, which I was like, wow, this is my special day. What earnings name do you think goes wrong tonight? I think the one that has the most, potential downside, I think is going to be Robinhood, but I don't think that's going to be the case because their numbers as of late have been absolutely phenomenal. And you're going to see growth across the platform, probably a bunch of new users, gold membership going up, and then increase on options activity and obviously transactions throughout the platform. We like Robinhood on every single level here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to argue with something up 250% of the year.
Right?
Just zip it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
wait until it retraces.
I don't think there's anything Vlad can really do to mess this up at this point right now.
Let me put it on there. Assassino, don't do it. Let me try over here. Oh, it's okay. Target took off out of the blues running. Okay, I'm assuming you're out of the blue, but yeah, we get your point, brother. Let's take a look at TGT and we'll talk about it for you. TGT. Let's find out what's going on over here. Well, it's got a decent day for itself over here. What's it up, Joey? It's up 2.25%. So let's look at the technicals over here. Wow, what a move up here for Target. Nice looking bull flag. Good continuation. Looking at the lose blotter, see if there's anything. Target unveils under $20 Thanksgiving meal for 4. That's not going to move it. Keeping a look over here. Yeah, shares of retail footwear stocks are trading higher. Supreme Court over here. President Trump's tariffs. Okay. Well, don't go anymore. Okay. All right. I guess that was it. I'm assuming shares of retail footwear stocks are trading higher as the Supreme Court hears arguments over President Trump's tariffs. We'll have to see how this all works out. We know today is the first day of oral arguments at the Supreme Court. The problem is, though, we're not going to get a decision on this for quite some time. It's going to be some time before they give their decision. And we know the typical schedule for the Supreme Court is to hear arguments in the fall and in the winter and then give judgment in late spring, early summer, typically in June. I don't think that that's going to be the case here, given the pressing nature of the tariffs and how much they're affecting policy. But, you know, I don't know. I don't know how this ends up going. A lot of comparisons being drawn right now to the leniency that the Supreme Court gave President Obama for his Obamacare and the expansion of powers there. We'll have to see if they allot the same type of, you know, discretion to the president. You know, typically, you know, when the president has something like this, it's their signature policy. Usually there's deference paid by the judicial branch, but we'll have to see. Everything is up in the air right now, Joey. Nobody knows what's going on.
No, not whatsoever. But you know who does? For too long, trading meant risking your own money or never having enough to start. The fear of losing, that's what kept so many traders on the sidelines. But that's changing. Trade the Pool is transforming how traders access the markets. With its limited risk trading model, traders use funded capital while Trade the Pool absorbs the downside. This allows traders to focus on what truly matters: discipline, consistency, and growth.
Okay.
When you hit the profit target, you keep 70% of the profits. No fears, no barriers, just real opportunity.
Right.
This is the revolution of limited risk trading powered by Trade the Pool. Visit tradethepool.com or scan the QR code now to get 10% off your first evaluation. So Patrick Duvall says, I'm involved with CMG. This is going to be, all right, the 6th month of the year 26, 31 calls. All right, let's take a look at the Chipotle Mexican Grill. I don't mind it. I find that some Chipotles are a hit and miss. I don't know if that is worthy or anything, but there's a while where I was just like, ooh, Chipotle for dinner? I liked it a lot. I'm glad what they got going on here. Let's pull it up. I mean, you're off those lows, right? So you're essentially playing an SSR bounce, considering, and I like this. You have a lot of time on those calls, but as soon as you enter this gap, I like your opportunity to fill at least 60 to 70% of it. That's what I've observed over time, and that's what the next algo that I'm going to work on from a daily perspective is, because we talked about this when I first started coming on the show last year in September, October, is that the gap fills are a really, really successful strategy in strong names, and this is what I was referring to in Meta, but as for Chipotle, we like that 100%. Travman, I'm going to pull up what I was reading on Bitcoin last night. I think there's like $1.3 billion in liquidations over the day. So it was an ugly session. And to Sharief's point, just those over-leveraged products, you got to get rid of those. There has to be some sort of regulatory formation around those, which I think is really important, because you can't have people buying 20x leveraged things. It's just a recipe for disaster, 110%. But as for the Bitcoin world, the cryptocurrency, nice pop off of those lows. We want to see a retest into maybe the 110s if we're fortunate enough to get that. If it's extremely weak and you see the sharks or the whales, whatever you'd like to call them, step back in and push price lower, then that's not going to be a good time. But I want to pull up some things. I mentioned the liquidations and everything along those lines, but a lot of analysts say that if 100,000 doesn't hold, then we can see potentially 70K in Bitcoin, which would be not good whatsoever. If it does head into that level, I think it's an absolute buy, considering hopefully Michael Saylor and company, we're going to be buying up Bitcoin from by the storm. I've seen a bunch of individuals buying it last night that they were mentioning in some of the reports. So I like our chances. A lot of confidence within, I'm going to say who, I don't know. Yeah, okay. It's irrelevant who was buying it essentially at the end of the day. But if there's that much confidence within it, then I like our chances to continue its climbing. It's ugly, but we don't want to hit panic mode just yet. If you hit 70s, then it's panic mode in my opinion. So that's what I'm thinking about Bitcoin.
Yeah, and like it was a decent hold of 100, Joey. What I'm concerned about is that wasn't the level we were talking about. We were talking about the 110 level holding. That one's clearly given way now.
Yeah.
I like ETH up. You know, I want to see it above 3,600. It's below or 34.33 right now. Up almost 7% though on ETH. So we'll see if that one can mosey on back into area highs. All right, guys, let's talk about QuantumScape. I worked into this one at 55s, just wet the beak at 65, got obviously an order there at 69er. And then we're also long ASST. You guys asked for it, we got in. Where are we in, man? We're in at 44s. We just wet the beak at 49. It did pop into 50. I didn't have anything at 50. I'm waiting north of 50 at 52. And we got shares on this one, man, so we'll be able to take out some shares. hopefully into a nicer level than 152 or 155 there where I have that printed. And last but not least, I've got DTCK. Look, it's holding up at 6, but now it's got some lower highs and it feels like it might lose the level. So I am kind of concerned. I'm long 8s. It's showing me 5s. Look, I've given it a little bit of room below 6 just so that I don't get wicked out or stop hunted, but I don't know how I feel right now about DTCK with that 632 high. It's not even attempting to make higher highs. So we'll keep an eye on this one and we'll see what we get. And we will not get upset with that one. So that's the look there. Still keeping an eye, of course, on THAR. This one's a little bit above VWAP, a little bit below VWAP, kind of unsure how to feel. I do have a breakout trade above that 415, 416 area. If it works its way up there, I think it'll have cleared the volume weighted average price by a good enough distance, and it will have changed this sort of lower high consolidative area that we've been in since, dropping below VWAP at 1155, so almost 45 minutes now worth of this consolidation area below VWAP. So that is my look there. Yeah, so QuantumScape, ASST, and DTCK. Let's see if these ones hold up. As I mentioned, THAR as well. We're keeping a close eye out on that one. There's obviously others. SEDG just printed another high of the day, 39.20, right into area highs. Not really a small cap gapper. It's an earnings play. It's a solar name, Solar Edge. Keep your eye out on that if you don't mind, being strict about the small cap gapper rule as I am. Just looking here for some more small cap gappers on my screen. I'm seeing EVC. It looks like the better trade is behind this one. Let me pull up EVC here for you guys. Oops. EVC, let's take a look at that. Yeah, decent looking bull flag. Bull flag yesterday in the aftermarket. Continuation play today. Another bull flag up at around 1050, not 930. Volume came in late, 1050 and 11. But it's holding VWAP. Definitely, certainly got $3 as a resistance area and has been the case since we lost it at around 11. But as you can see, it's being bought up off that volume weighted average price in the 2 high 80s, Joey. So let's see how this one ends up going. I'm not doing anything on it quite yet. Let's take a look here at QuantumScape as that one works back into 64s. Let's see if we can mosey on up into that 69 penny area where I have been waiting, Joe. So those are the ones right now. And we'll start the news maybe in about 15 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less. Lots to talk about today, as I'm sure you can imagine. Umpteen amount of earnings names as well as a lot of non-earnings related headlines we'll get to as well, Joe.
All right, cool. Good stuff there, guys. Yeah, Douglas Bundy, let's take a look at HSY for a trade, swing trade up to 195. I mean, from an intraday, we're obviously not going to, I shouldn't say obviously, but it's just not really in play. 195 is going to be a key level there on Hershey's. I think that's a big time move. Are you looking for that to happen relatively quick? I don't know. It's going to probably take quite a bit of time to get up there. But I mean, off of these lows, not too bad. As long as this continues to hold that 160 level, I would keep an eye out on that. It failed to establish a new one, which is a positive sign, right? And you're starting to see some strong prints here. I do like this candle right here, though. I'd be looking at this all day, considering it is a hammer candle with an engulfing volume print. That's a pretty a strong signal. So as soon as you breach it to the top side, that's going to put us around 173 roughly. I think you have a chance to head into that next support level, which is going to be 183. North of that, you have to be extremely patient. And I mean, you have to go back in the history of this name. It's not too good. Man, COVID okay, that's not even COVID, I was going to say. But yeah, but even so, this was on a monster run. Wow. Shout out to Hershey's during COVID, considering I guess a lot of people eating chocolate and stuff during the pandemic, which is,
That's a good point.
I mean, at home doing nothing, just munching on the kisses.
I bet. Wasn't there like mass weight gain during the COVID?
Probably, man. It's like, what do they call it? The freshman 15?
Yeah, they call it that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Like my understanding was that there was.
I bet. Well, it was like literally, it was difficult to get your hands on gym equipment. I was fortunate enough to stay active there throughout that, but.
And the new recipes, Assassino says people are at home. They want to try new recipes for stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The new recipe that consists of melted down Hershey chocolate. Absolutely. I don't know. I'm not a big, I'm not even going to get myself into that whatsoever. Yeah. Too much alcohol?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what the whole thing was.
Don't you remember what Big Dougie did? He declared,
deliveries,
he
man.
declared the liquor stores to be a vital, essential service.
That is crazy.
No, but
man.
he said it, and he was pretty declarative about it. He's like, there is alcohol dependence up the yin yang in our society. If we shut this mother, you know what, people are in a riot. Shut down the cannabis stores for a little bit.
Did they?
Yeah, they did shut down the cannabis stores. But they didn't shut down the liquor stores.
Those, yeah, there's zero chance. And also, in the city, there's a bunch of rules that they kind of got a little bit more lenient on. You can order it from the restaurants. You can walk right out. And even on the streets, they kept with some of the rules. You can now consume alcohol on the street, which you never were able. Yeah, you never were able to. But oh man, again, nothing to brag about. But did my friend and I have a heyday just ordering stuff from the restaurants? Oh, bottle of rosé, $13. Oh, get 5 of those. Yeah, rock and roll. We could never get that delivery before, but it was good times. Do I miss them? The only thing I miss about COVID is waiting in the grocery store lineup. That's about it, or to get into like Canadian store.
It was easy?
No, it was brutal, man. It was like in the cold. Yeah.
One thing you don't miss. I thought you said one thing you miss.
I don't miss. That's what I don't. Yeah, that's
gotcha,
the only thing. But
gotcha.
COVID was a great time there, so maybe I said don't miss or whatever.
But you know, like informally, you could always have had alcohol in parks and stuff in Ontario. You weren't allowed legally, but the cops would come up to you and be like,
just put it in a
please put it in a cup so I don't have to come up here.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly,
like they would always say that.
It's the same thing with Sega Beach, right? Like the Sega Beach, you go there with the red cup and everything.
Exactly, the most obvious.
Yeah, it's like
but they didn't care.
No.
As long as you put it in a cup, Joey.
Throughout my whole teenage year, there was this guy. Who would literally he ran with Sega Beach, and he just would walk around with his garbage bags and pick up the empty cans. And then just one year, I guess, I don't know how that guy's doing. Just think about that random individual. He just stopped coming by. So maybe he croaked or something along those lines. But by all means, man, he obviously was homeless and all those things. But he must have done pretty good for himself, considering he's going to Sega Beach in the summertime just collecting cans. But aside from that, guys, let's get back into these markets, see what we got going on. Hershey's, we were talking about that for some time. I think you can get into those levels. You just have to be extremely patient on that one. Roland, Joe, your beaches in Thailand were empty. You had them all to yourself. Yeah, I heard a lot of things, man. Tourism obviously got destroyed during that time. But look at the overall market. What a steady grind higher here, guys. Let's head to a higher time frame, like the hourly, and see if we're starting to recover the majority of yesterday's session. We're at that point. We're not at the peak yet. 115 on the TQs is going to be that level, but you're only $1 away. And these big boys, any dip is getting bought in the likes of NVDA. It's so hard to sustain this downward movement. The CapEx is out there. I'm just thinking in the back of my head, just because these guys are spending so much money together, essentially as a collective unit, is it just going to drive this market higher and higher? I think that's going to be the case because we're seeing it time and time again. So NVIDIA, I really like. I want to really add into this position in my long-term account, and then I want to get into some more cybersecurity and some of the quantum names as well too. So those are some of the big names that I'm looking to allocate next into the long-term portfolio.
Yeah, sounds good, Joey.
All right, guys, still in 3 positions here. ASST back at the 10 EMA. It made a brief cameo appearance at that $1.50, dropped back down, holding the 10. We've got 44s. It's showing me 47s. I don't mind packing the patience here on this one, but I'd love a decided move above 50 here. Clean out some of those profit takers I've got lined up there on the chart, but I don't know. I don't mind defending this one into the 20 either. The 20 is a little bit below 145. We'll see. The other one I've got on QuantumScape, that's coming back into my area, 55s here. I'm going to get out of this one, so we're going to flatten out here, break even on the remaining amount on QuantumScape. If that starts trending a little bit better and stops putting in umpteen amount of lower highs, we'll get back involved with that. DTCK still holding 6, but for how long? Price spiked up a couple of times, and now it looks like the volume is really declining on DTCK, and now we're not even getting price spikes up into the upper end of the range, which to me, at least, was 20 pennies, and I'm not seeing that anymore. So keeping a close eye here on DTCK for an out, whether that's a stop out or a profit taker. Day Trader LA, thank you for the $10 super chat, my friend. Lily still got the upward momentum. Let's look at LLY. see what that one is up to. Obviously, it's competitor reported, and it was not a good report. We will be talking about that momentarily on the news. Up 3.86% and working its way back into that $1,000 area. This has been a very, very nice recovery for Eli Lilly off that 625 August low. And since that time, we are up 52 2/3% off that level. Good recovery for the GLP-1 name. It feels like this is a really, really prolonged bull flag, with this area being a period of consolidation. I'm talking about this area starting in around July of 2024. Those are when we got near all-time highs. Again, we tested them again in August, and then it was basically a downtrend, downtrend, downtrend. You feel like you might be breaking that downtrend now with this latest move, I want to say starting above that trend line break on Halloween. So good recovery here for LLY. Intraday, of course, it does seem like it's just holding trend here. Most of the time, it's finding support at the 10 EMA. Very few times it breaches the 10 EMA. Most notably, 1220, 1225 got bought right back up. So great look here for Eli Lilly as they look to expand, obviously, their moat. They're going to have to get into some more drugs. It can't just be GLP-1 and bust. So we'll have to see and keep an eye on their product pipeline. But good look, no question about it, Joey, since that summer area low. Jameson, Goro, light volume, but looks good today. Let's look at GORO for Jameson. Take a look at this one, Assassino, over here. What is this? GORO? GORO? There it is. Gold. I love gold. Yeah, light volume, brother. Sub $1 name, 68 penny high. It's got everything going for it, except the volume, of course, and the fact that it's below $1. But this is good. It's a clean hold. I'd be buying it off 67 pennies, give or take. That's the area high from the previous occasion, and it's where the 10 EMA as well. So let me know how GORO goes. Not really my cup of tea, though, but good look nonetheless. Joey, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm just reading some things here on AMD. I know we're going to be going over the news here momentarily. Just looking at some inventory days outstanding, I think is a little bit interesting. We'll get more into that momentarily. Meta putting in a new high of the day, going to be touching into 641 momentarily. Thoughts on Oscar and EOSE into earnings, please? Oscar Health. Yeah, we can take a look at some of these names. OS.
Canada, too, bro.
Yeah, bang. Oscar. Is it Canada? Jeez, shout out to Canada there in our amazing economy. And unemployment rates. Yeah, so shout out to the great nation. What's up, no?
What did you make of the change of the lyrics during the World Series?
Dude, I'm like, what did this guy just say?
I'm not a fan.
No, I know. I bet you're not.
I'm not a fan.
I couldn't believe what that guy said. I'm like, who hired this guy? And who allowed him to change the lyrics like that?
Nah,
a lot of
twice.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
There was the
I heard the one guy in LA.
The first guy, and then there was a second guy as well.
The one thing that
I'm like, this guy's taking liberties, man.
I'm like, what? I'm like, what in the days are you talking about, man? Just sing the anthem. My God. Yeah. As for Oscar Health, guys, you got to look into these as kind of repeat offenders. This has been sideways for quite some time. You're obviously getting some key touches around that $24 level, and then you got some support levels around $13. It's just ebbs and flows and just continuous moves throughout that. Now let's see what else we got. EOSE. I'm not familiar with this. EOSE. How's the? You got an order filled? Continue.
I said, oh shit.
Yeah, he just sat down and they started. You know, I have to check. I'll make sure everything's good with Katina.
How's the salmon? He doesn't even have it open yet. I'm gonna ask him how the salmon was. I think the miso flavored salmon is the best there.
No. Katina, man, can we take a quick look since it's covered? Show everybody. So we're getting them portioned now, Joey. I don't know if you've noticed. Assassino, is there a way to? Yeah, thank you, Assassino. I appreciate that.
The potato salad.
There's the potato salad. There you go. Your salad right there. Some romaine lettuce. There's the nice salmon piece. A little salad dressing right there, Joey. Nice potato salad. A little mix. I like how they're putting it in these little cups, Katina, man. It's not blending in with portioning out with everything else.
You know what's funny? So like as a kid, I don't know if you were like this, but I most definitely was. Is that you didn't like your other foods touching each other? Did you as a kid? But now me, I just mix everything, man. I just put everything together. What do you say?
What about pie? You're never gonna live that down.
No, pie. What do you mean? What about pie? I'm not mixing it. It's like, oh, no more. It's done. Bring it back. You know what I mean? Take that thing back.
No, but you say you're not a picky eater.
I'm not,
but
dude.
I kind of feel like you are, Joey.
Oh my God.
Even Ram
says the person
he doesn't
who
like
doesn't
cookies, SSE, he doesn't like
like
pie.
oranges.
I don't know, brother. Like you're.
Listen. I'll eat a solid oatmeal cookie.
Okay.
I just have no intentions of going to the store and buying cookies. I don't. That doesn't satisfy me. I don't get any. I don't comfort eat cookies or anything like that.
No, I respect that. That's
mean?
probably a good thing.
Yeah,
you stay
yeah.
trim and nice like that, my
exactly.
man.
You
I
have
get
to,
that,
man.
but. I still
There you go.
feel though like you are a little bit of a picky eater.
Bro, what did I say the other day? I'm like, yeah, I don't know, this chicken tastes funny. He's like, bro, you're just like my cousin. You're so picky. I'm like, yo, I'm just saying the chicken tastes a little off. It doesn't mean I don't like it.
He doesn't like anything, guys.
Bro,
Every day he's complaining.
No,
It's
man.
so good.
No, it's crazy. I'm truly not, man. I think I'm a pretty good eater.
No,
when
man,
I was
you
younger,
are. You're good.
When I
You're
was
a good
younger, I
dude.
was bad.
But guys, excuse me, sorry, Joey, I have to interrupt. Solar Edge is absolutely ripping up. It cleared 40. Guys, this was consolidating below 38, and then in a couple of candles there, now we're knocking on the door of $41. Solar Edge is absolutely rocketing up, and this is not the political environment. Let's cut the crap for these solar names, but this one is doing quite good. Let's look at the daily to get a, well, you see where we're coming from there, okay? So we're coming from much, much higher, and there are no reverse splits to speak about here. These are real levels. We were at these levels at 380. So, but a good recovery, man. Good for Solar Edge. I don't want to see them do bad. I think solar definitely has a future, whether now or this decade or another, but solar certainly doing real good here, Joey. 40, 88 high a day and rocketing up a little bit more.
Yeah,
man.
Jam Lossy asked what the things on our shirt are. These are poppies. These are for veterans, my friend, for all war veterans, for those who have fallen and even served in battle. So shout out.
It's from World War I, and we paid tribute.
All the wars, really.
Yeah,
but the
do,
poppy, but the poppy was from Flanders Field. The song.
Flanders Field.
Bang.
So we'll wear these guys till November 11th.
Yeah.
So the 11th day, the
moment.
11th month, 11th hour, 11th minute, and then we'll do that. There's a ceremony.
What day is the 11th?
Check, Joe. Tuesday.
Tuesday. Okay,
Nice.
so probably
Tuesday.
when we start the show, typically you have a moment of silence.
Yeah, we did it last year.
Yeah.
We did
So
it
we'll have
last
a
year.
moment of silence, a couple seconds or
We
so,
always do
just to be thankful for everything,
bro.
and
Always.
just having the ability to live in a privileged environment.
Especially the way they fought wars back in World War I.
exactly.
Don't even get me started, bro.
Chemical,
insanity.
mustard gas is
Insanity.
insane, man.
Yeah.
That stuff is good. I told you, I was watching some documentaries of the war in Ukraine.
Yes.
And oh man, that stuff it's scary stuff, man. That's for sure. I forget what the documentary is called, but you see absolutely everything, and it's insane, dude.
I see a lot of that on TikTok, Joe.
Do you?
I did. I'm seeing less of it now. A lot of the drone warfare we were talking about.
Dude.
I see a lot of that come on TikTok, unfiltered, typically Russian accounts releasing them. I look because I want to see what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing bad. I used to love war documentaries. There's this one called "Which Way to the Front Lines" from here. It's a pretty long title, but it's just about this journalist. Anyways, I'll say it quick. He's been to multiple wars, Africa, and then his final trip is to Syria, and everybody's like, "Don't go there."
Decade-long civil war.
Yeah. And we said, "Don't go there," and rightfully so. But anyways, guys, back into these markets. Enough of that sad talk. Shout out to all but thank you for all of the individuals who have served and are currently serving. Mara is not doing too much. We're just rolling through some scans, guys. I bit right back towards the high of the day. Nvidia coming into some key support levels. Let's see if that holds up as well too. 201.08 there, and Tesla just a steady grind higher. There's a wick on from the opening drive high that we're kind of struggling at. So keep an eye out for any forms of indecision. I think around 1 or 2 o'clock, or maybe 1:30, 2 o'clock, there might be some moves, retracements back towards the volume weighted average price. But again, you don't want to be going against this trend, considering that we've engulfed, well, not almost, but we've almost regained all of what we lost yesterday.
No, Roland Joe, I haven't heard about what happened there. Tag me. Let me know. I don't know the story you're talking about, brother, but yeah, inform me. All right, Joey, it's 4 to 1. Let's get the news started. Adira's not quite there, but she'll join us when she gets back. So yeah, guys, it is a heavy news day today. So not only because there's umpteen amount of earnings, but there's a lot of non-earnings related headlines as well. Actually, I don't want to put it on this one. I'm going to put it on the first screen. so I can operate with my positions going here. So let's get right down to work. Advanced Micro Devices. Let's talk about their report. Look, it was a good report. They had a couple of issues. They were selling off aggressively. Now they're up 2 1/3. So good recovery. They're actually up more than Nvidia on the day. Earnings per share, $1.20. The street wanted $1.16. Check on the bottom line. Revenue, 9 1/4. The street was looking for 8 3/4. So a $500 million beat there and a 36% increase year over year on that top line. Check there. How about net income? How much are they profitable? $1.25 billion and up from $771 million last year. Almost, not quite, obviously doubling it up. Great look there for the current quarter. That was Q3, of course. Let's talk, though, about their different segments. They got many. Their data center segment, obviously a euphemism for AI. $4.75 billion revenue from there out of the 9.25, 4 and 3. 4.34 came from there, 22% year over year, beating expectations. Their AI chip business is expanding rapidly, according to management, with tens of billions in revenue for AI expected by 2027. The OG Lisa Su said AMD received U.S. licenses to ship out the MI308 to China. More on that in a second. They may have gotten the nod from the U.S. government, but the Chinese regulator may say, hold on a second. So we know the MI308 is a China-specific variant, very similar to the H20 from Nvidia. Let's go on that and talk about their other segments. Client revenue. We're talking about, PCs and CPUs for computers, $2.75 billion, and a notable increase, good recovery there for the PC segment, 46% year over year increase on that number, and easily beating the 2.61 expected by analysts. Gaming revenue, this was eye-watering, Joey. 181% increase year over year in their gaming revenue, up to $1.3 billion, well ahead of the 1.05 expected by analysts. It really is. They're saying it's boosted by Microsoft and Sony ramping up Xbox and PlayStation orders ahead of the holidays. I guess maybe that gives us a little insight into whether the consumer is tapped out and whether or not companies are expecting strong holiday quarter for spending. It looks, at least for gaming, that they may be. Let's talk about the guidance. What are they guiding for next quarter, Q4 that is? $9.6 billion in revenue, which would be a 25% bump over last year's Q4 and easily beating the 9.15 expected by the street. Another check there. How about gross margins? Well, they're not eye-watering like Nvidia, mid 70%, but a healthy gross margin for a physical product, 54.5% gross margins, in line with estimates. And Joey, this is kind of the only thing that I would say maybe I would worry a little bit about. Amazon disclosed it sold its entire 822,000 share position as of September 30th. It had been building up said position earlier in the year. They're out.
Oh, I mean, all out is crazy. I would have left a little runner. I would have left a little runner there at least.
I would have too.
Yeah, I mean, at the end
Peace
of
for the dream.
Yeah, exactly. No, but in all seriousness, guys, AMD has been doing absolutely phenomenal. The gaming division is obviously growing at a substantial rate. The Ryzen chips are phenomenal. I have one personally in my computer, a Ryzen 5, and I've had this thing for almost 5 years now. Hasn't slowed down a bit. We like everything. We were talking about the neck and neck race that was supposed to occur earlier in the years with AMD and NVDA. It was lagging substantially. Now it's playing catch up big time. Off of those April lows, you're up 243% to where we're currently trading at. That's absolutely phenomenal. Growth still substantially coming in on the chip maker, striking deals left and right and center with all the right individuals in this AI game. I like AMD substantially. Am I going to be buying it up here? I don't think it's right to look at the PE considering, but at the end of the day, what AMD's been doing, it's hard to deny it and it's hard to fight it, and I wouldn't want to go against it whatsoever. Pullback, I think, is warranted, but at the end of the day, it's going to climb because of multiple upgrades to $300 price target. That's phenomenal. We like AMD a lot.
All right, Adara, this is a really good report, whether you're looking at this current quarter or the next quarter. What do you make of this?
Yeah, I don't think it's shocking that we have some concerns here about gross margin, because that's the same thing that hurts NVIDIA. And, as you said, Sharief, obviously NVIDIA's gross margins are a lot better than AMD's, but either way, if you are in line or you miss on gross margin with a company like this, which is much hype with as much gas behind it, it's going to be a concern. So that to me makes perfect sense. This is something we'd worry about. I think that Q4 revenue forecast beat, though, was really nice. They guided decently above estimates. That's a good look. We already had that 36% year-over-year revenue gain. I think in general, as you guys said, I think it's generally a solid report. And I think with the gross margin guidance being in line, if they exceed gross margin for Q4, I think that's going to be an awesome look.
All right, let's go on to super microcomputer SMCI. There's only two names that are negative on my semiconductor microchip watch list. One of them is ARM, and it's about to go green. It's down 0.17. And the other is SMCI, getting shellacked. 8 3/4 down, and it's SSR in the day, meaning it was below 10. Let's talk about the earnings report. It was a miss on the top and bottom line. It was an absolutely trash quarter. I don't know why their Q1, they don't go fiscally here. They march to the beat of their own drum. Anyway, it's their Q1. 35 pennies per share on earnings on EPS, missing the 40. Revenue, 5.02 billion. What are you guys even doing? 6 billion expected by the street, and also down sequentially year over year to the tune of 15%. This time last year, they almost took home $6 billion. Now they're taking 5. What the hell is going on? Net income dropped substantially, a 60% decline in their profitability. They took home $168.3 million. Last year around this time, they took home $425 million. They missed the preliminary guidance cuts. We know earlier, I think in the month, not this month, last month, they did guide. They had a preliminary guide, I think 2 weeks ago, where it said, you know, we're not going to do as well. But trust me, bro, we're going to do it better in Q2. So now they're guiding Q2, Joey. They're saying, look, we're going to bring in about 10 to 11 billion in revenue, up from the 5 that they just took home in Q2. Well above, of course, what the street was expecting, 7.83 billion, signaling a strong recovery if you believe the story. The company attributed the weakness in Q1 to shipment timing issues, not demand erosion. In fact, management reaffirmed that AI-related server demand remains quite robust, whether it's by the Nvidia's H200 or the MI300 from AMD, they say it's robust. So what about the competitive landscape? Because we've been hearing stories about Dell eating into their market share. And if you thought that, you were absolutely right. Analysts are noting that Dell has gained share in recent quarters as enterprise clients diversify away from these niche markets. Last but not least here, we know that they have a good relationship with Nvidia, but it's a benefit for them as well as a drawback, because if Nvidia either cuts them off or there's some sort of backlog in supply, they don't use anybody else's chips other than Nvidia's, so that creates a little bit of a concentration risk there. Before we get Joey's opinion on this, we're gonna have to pause, go to Adair.
Yeah, I have to talk about CCCX here. That's Churchill Capital Corp X. So this one is a special purpose acquisition company. They're set to merge with Inflection. Well, the reason they're popping up here is because Inflection, and again, that's the company that CCCX is going to merge with. Inflection here announcing a partnership on LinkedIn here with the Quantum Science Center, and the wording of this partnership on LinkedIn is also leading to some speculation that there could be a Department of Energy deal as well. So again, CCCX pushing up higher here because the company that it's going to merge with via SPAC has led to some speculation that they have a deal with the Department of Energy. Back to you.
All right, Joey, give us your take, brother, on this whole thing.
I'm just reading some interesting stuff on SMCI. We know that before they were having troubles even reporting their earnings, Sharief, which is absolutely insane.
Right.
But Charles Lang said that the company is managing record orders, including $13 billion in backlogs tied to Nvidia's new Blackwell Ultra GPUs. All right, so that's some backlog. You like that at the end of the day, in my opinion. So as for SMCI, let's pull this up and see what we got going on from the technical standpoint.
All right.
Now, again, I'm not going to compare it as much as I want to. Hold on, we'll take a step back here. It's Salesforce, right, and then SMCI. My issue is that you have these deals being made left, right, and center between some of the big names. It seems like that every hyperscaler now is somehow intertwined with each other. Sam Altman and company teaming up with essentially everyone. There's SMCI heading towards some key support levels. Keep an eye out on that. Adair's got some breaking news for us.
Keep an eye here on Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk. CBS reporting that the Trump administration is going to be announcing these weight loss drug deals tomorrow. So again, CBS reporting Trump weight loss drug related announcement tomorrow. Eli Lilly and NVO are the stocks to watch with this catalyst in mind. I also want to mention here with regards to when Trump is speaking, he was set to start at 1 p.m. I am watching the Fox News stream of this event, which is a business forum in Miami, Florida. Trump hasn't appeared yet. When he does, or when I get any indication that he will immediately, I'll certainly keep you all posted.
Did you hear about, before you continue, did you hear about the deal he's trying to strike with these GLP-1 drugs? He's trying to get them to drop the price down.
Donald, you were saying,
President Trump, to $150 a month, just by way of comparison.
Really?
Hims and hers.
So how do you go? I know, but how do you go from thinking about slapping 150% tariffs on some medications or whatever he was going to do on some of the pharmacy companies?
Right.
Oh, okay, outside. Okay. But I mean, Novo Nordisk is a European company, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah,
They can
manufacture it here.
But here's the deal, Joey. I think that this is going to be net beneficial for them because I think there's so many ailments that are caused by excessive weight, as well as other issues as well.
Yeah.
So if they can get these drugs at good prices and kind of.
Let me ask you this. So some of the trial, like going through the trial phases, what is the usual time period of this?
It really depends.
It depends?
Right. Yeah, there's phase 1, 2, and 3 typically.
So like when you're looking at something like a GLP-1, what if we don't know the actual significant long-term effects of these
things? You never really do, brother. How are you supposed to know something that's going to happen?
Well, that's what I'm saying. What is your sample base, right? You do your best. So like, what is it over a time period in which you go through the phases of like 5 years or something along those lines?
It really, I think you typically the runway from phase 1 to phase 3 is like 3 or 4 years.
You know what I heard is that I heard that people are getting like feet pains with this. I don't know if you heard this. They're losing the fat on the bottom of their feet. Yeah. That's what I read about it. So people apparently, if you're using it excessively, you're losing the whatever tissue or the fat on the bottom of your feet.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and sure enough, right? So it makes it more difficult to walk.
I bet. All right, let's go to Adara for her take on SMCI.
Yeah, I have to say here as well, as you can see on the screen, more updates here with regards to the CBS report suggesting that we're going to have a deal on weight loss drugs announced tomorrow by the White House. So apparently this deal with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk is expected to drop these obesity drug prices to under $150 a month. That is a significant cut. With regards to SMCI, maybe a slightly unpopular opinion, but I would argue, I'm not going to say priced in because I never want to speculate on that. I think we kind of knew what we were walking into here with SMCI. They literally told us, hey, we're going to do $5 billion in revenue. That's well below our previous guidance. So in a way, because it was slightly above $5 billion, you could argue they actually beat their most recent guidance. Now, I wouldn't. It's still obviously not a great report. But you have to remember the fact that they already told us, again, a couple weeks ago, that their Q1 revenue was going to lag because they were dragging these orders forward into Q2 because of design improvements. And now you see Q2 guidance well above estimates and fiscal 2026 guidance well above estimates. So, I mean, I honestly don't think it's that bad of a look for SMCI. I joked about this being a triple miss on the margin, the revenue, and the earnings. But if you do look forward and zoom out a bit, as Neil says, when in doubt, zoom out. Maybe they have a chance, but that chance really, really depends upon them delivering a knockout Q2. And given that it's SMCI, that's certainly not set in stone or guaranteed.
All right, thank you. Yeah, there's the 150 headline. It's what I heard this morning. That was widely rumored for them to be negotiating about 150 bucks a month for that. It's much more expensive if you try to get it from the pharmacy or any of these other alternative health services like, Hims and Hers and stuff like that, Joey. So it'll be interesting to see, how much this expands the use because, well, it obviously eats into their margins substantially.
Yeah, is what I was going to say, right? That's a massive margin to
have to try to make it up some way by volume, but I don't really see that.
The pill, man. I think the pill is
going to be fantastic.
Be something.
But the R&D cost for these guys is prohibitive. That's why they're given the 15-year, depends on the country, 15-year exclusivity window before their patent runs out.
And then everybody can make it.
All right, let's go on to the next story. Rivian. You guys have been talking a lot about Rivian as well as you should because this thing is a freaking rocket ship today. Where's it at? 23%. Randy, 23%. You know who. Hey, 15 1/3, baby. Get it, my man. Randy's been holding Rivian, and he is very pleased today. That's 1540. Yeah, baby. He's getting pumped. I love it. Hey, that's my man. All right, guys, let's talk about this. So look, they're still not profitable, but very few EVs company are. 65 cents per share loss. The street was looking for a 72, so smaller than expected on revenue of 1.56 billion. easily beating the 1.5 expected. And Joey, they grew that top line number at 78% year over year. Great look there. It's the second quarterly gross profit in the company's history. They made about $24 million, beating the $38.6 million loss. Hold on, guys. They actually printed a profit of 65 pennies per share relative to the 72 penny per share loss. So it wasn't a smaller loss. They were actually profitable vis-a-vis a $24 million profit. Fantastic look by Rivian, man. The strength was driven, Joey, by both automotive operations as well as that software deal they have with Volkswagen. We'll talk more about that in a second. Automotive operations still posted a $130 million loss, but that's a $249 million improvement over last year, where they lost a lot more. Profitability was offset by the $154 million they made from the VW partnership in both the software and the services side. CEO RJ Scaringe saying he credited the firm's diversified business model and software integration for improved margins. Rivian's partnership with Volkswagen continues to provide a financial buffer with the company as they look to grow. They're maintaining their full year 2025 outlook. They didn't really confirm that. What I like, though, and what I highlighted in green is, yes, that R2, the midsize SUV that we've been talking about, slated for production and launch the first half, of 2026, of course, at the Illinois plant. That's going to be a really good look, Joey. A lot more people are going to be able to afford the R2 than the R1. And then if you're worried about, headwinds, there is obviously the rare earth issue that we've been talking about, as well as the tariffs. With respect to the rare earth issue, CEO saying that the rare earth and chip supply issues from China are not expected to delay the R2 timeline, and the Trump administration's tariff adjustments were lowered Rivian's per vehicle tariff cost from a couple of $1,000s to hundreds per unit, improving near-term margins.
Yeah. Very interesting stuff, Sharief. So the company expecting to deliver around 41,500 to 43,000 vehicles in 2025. You did see a spike in sales in the month of September, obviously as the EV tax credit was starting to cool off. But they're raising that number for next year as well, too. So for 2026, Wall Street expects the sales of around 73,000 vehicles. That's not too bad, right? We'll take it every day, I think, in a growing name, especially, too. So I seen a vehicle the other day, Sharief, when I was driving down Strawn, and it had like a bird symbol. I'd never seen it before. What? Your dog has a... Oh, you thought that? Oh, the thing. Yeah, it was like a bird. It was weird. It looked like a mockingbird. I'd never seen this car before, ever.
What did it look like?
It was like big. It kind of looked like the Land Rover Discovery, but something different. It was just like, it looked literally like a mockingbird symbol. I'm gonna look up what it was. It was a really cool car, but I've never seen it before, ever in the city. What's that?
Firebird, Rolls, no.
No, it was something else, man. I'm going to look it up later, but it was relatively new, so very, very interesting.
No, electric?
No, I think so. I think it was electric, but it was a different vehicle. I'm going to look it up later. Right. Maybe I can find it. But as for Rivian, guys, you know where I stand in a lot of these car manufacturers. It's a tough space, and these vehicles can get really expensive at sometimes. But this is a big-time move in Rivian. One thing to note is that you have this steady. You're forming these higher lows, which is something positive. So not too bad if you're looking at a big-time breakout with the volume supporting it. We like this. It might have been in Enos, maybe, potentially. Yeah, let's take a look and see what it is. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm gonna look up this thing here, Sharief.
Okay.
Car.
There it is right there, bro. Yeah, Ionos car.
Yeah, I think it's
not Jones' car. All right, while you look that up, let's get Adara's take on the Rivian earnings report. Adara.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to say here. I'm certainly not the car expert of this crew, but I will say, I mean, you just look at the numbers, right? Numbers don't lie. Check the scoreboard. Shout out to Jay-Z, and you have a 78% year-over-year increase in revenue, the second quarterly gross profit that they've ever reported. Like, there's a lot to like about this report, and I think, as Joe mentioned, I was looking at the daily and weekly chart on this, and there's certainly, I think, a growth story being told. These numbers certainly help. It makes sense that the sentiment's positive towards it, and I think if they can get that R2 midsize SUV launch happening, at the timeline that they guide, they're already, no offense, but they're already a step above Tesla with that if they can get the timeline happening when it's supposed to. Also, guys, keep an eye on UiPath. I am just seeing right now UiPath announcing alongside Microsoft a partnership here. Microsoft partnering with UiPath, a preferred enterprise agentic automation platform on Azure. So again, Azure partnership for PATH. Keep an eye on this stock, guys. Also, CNBC reporting that WBD, Warner Brothers Discovery, is setting a deadline here for Christmas to announce a sale or split with regards to comments from Trump as well. I'm still watching the Fox stream. We had the speaker before him wrap up. There's a whole bunch of ads. Once I see Trump, I will keep you guys posted. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you, Adara. We were talking, Randy and I, of course, about the Rivian earnings, and he brought up a really good point. We saw that the R2 is going to come out of Illinois, but we want to know, but exactly, we want to know about the future, which is Georgia. So they've got a Georgia fab, or whatever you want to call it, plant right now under construction. When, Randy, do you know when it's slated to open? No, okay. Not well. We can look into that. And they got $7.7 billion in liquidity, $7.1 billion in cash and short-term investments. It gives them a good runway, Randy. Lots of runway. Lots of runway. I love it. All right, guys, let's talk about, this is a very important story here, Joey. China orders data centers to drop Nvidia's chips. Look, Nvidia's up on the day. It's above 200. It's a fantastic company, but we need to look at this seriously here. So China issued new government guidance requiring state-funded data centers to only use domestically made AI chips. More on that in a second. Projects that are less than 30% complete must remove all foreign chips or cancel the orders. Those beyond the 30% completion will be assessed on a case-by-case basis. The move marks China's most aggressive step yet to eliminate foreign tech. And here's the deal. Nvidia's market share in China has been absolutely decimated since 2022. It had 95% of the AI chip market in China in 2022. Now it's almost down to zero, okay, because they're not buying these things. The directive applies not only to the H20, but are already banned GPUs from export, of course. The B200 and the H200, those got thrown onto the list as well. I didn't hear anything about the B30A, which is supposed to be their new China-specific variant, but I'm assuming they're probably going to throw that on there once it's available. Several projects relying on NVIDIA's hardware have already been suspended, including one in a northwestern province that was set to deploy NVIDIA's GPUs. We know Jensen really wants to get his foot in China. He sees them as a huge growth market, and there's been all sorts of political pressure, both sides of the ocean. So China's AI data center sector received over $100 billion in state funding since 2021. So it gives you the idea of how large the public sector data centers are. So these are state-sponsored data centers. It's not just NVIDIA here who's at threat. AMD and Intel could also face similar restrictions. We just spoke about the MI308, the China-specific AMD chip that they got a license from the Commerce Department to ship to China. That's probably going to be blocked as well. So think about that. Now, who's going to fill the gap? Well, Huawei and Cambricon. Also, you've got smaller domestic players, Meta X, not our Meta, Moore Threads, and Enflame, Joey. So this is yet another development in the saga between the Chinese market and the Chinese regulator and NVIDIA and these GPU companies.
Yeah, I'm really curious to know what you think about it. Do you think that this would be the same scenario if the Americans were willing to give just the outright, like the Blackwell and Lisa Su's best chips, rather than the lesser version, the reamped or the dumbed down version of some of them?
Get such resistance on that because there's still China hawks very much in the Republican Party that don't want Chinese to have anything.
So I think this scenario is, okay, give us your best chips or we don't want anything at all.
Which is kind of a feeling I get. Right?
Exactly. So I think that's the case that they're sitting in. It's unfortunate because I think that would have helped tariff talks a lot more, but it doesn't seem to be the case so far. No chips whatsoever. And AMD didn't include the China revenues into its earnings report or its guidance, which there you go. You're not going to get anything.
Are you surprised, Joey? It's a completely volatile situation.
Exactly.
All right, Adara, this is an interesting development from the Chinese regulator. What do you make of this?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've said this quite a few times with regards to China and NVIDIA and AMD. This situation is going to repeat itself ad nauseum unless one of the people involved or one of the parties involved makes a significant change in their approach. And I mean, yeah, you're right. This is certainly an escalation, I think, of how China feels, but it's certainly not new for China. It would be new for China if they were like, hey, you know what? We're going to allow these U.S. chips in. We're going to stop that push. But as I've said multiple times, I don't think they have any motivation to allow U.S. chips in. Now, why? Because it makes a lot more sense to build up their own chips and get those to be better. And that is, again, I think, the crux of this issue and why Jensen Huang himself has said it. Basically, the U.S. is more or less underestimating China if they don't think that China's just going to start building their own stuff if they don't have access. So I think this is maybe the price that the U.S. is going to have to pay. And unfortunately, Nvidia, Jensen Huang's company, is going to have to pay for these trade tensions between the U.S. and China because, again, like China's only incentivized to make their own chips and to continue to make those better, especially if, as you and Joe opined, they really only want the best chips from the U.S. So long story short, I think this is kind of the same old story, but it is showing, I think in a more acute way, the consequences that the U.S. is going to face for these trade tensions, specifically with regards to chip exports.
Thank you very much. Let's talk about Softy. Microsoft, the only Mag 7 name negative on the day, down 1%. But they got a good headline out in the United Arab Emirates. It's going to be Softy and UAE's Abu Dhabi, their G42. They announced a 200 megawatt expansion of a data center or data center capacity in the United Arab Emirates. The expansion will be handled through Khazana Data Centers, which is a G42 subsidiary, and it's expected to come online in late 25. Let's see. We don't have that much time, obviously, left. Microsoft disclosed that its total UAE investment now is going to reach $7.25 billion, and that was between 2023 and 2025, and another $7.9 billion planned for the years of 26 to 29. So they're throwing their hat into the ring into the Middle East. The new capacity is will power Azure AI, of course. We're talking about Microsoft here, as well as the cloud workloads, helping meet soaring regional demand. Microsoft's alliance with G42, which we reported to you guys earlier this year when President Trump took the contingent of tech leaders and went to the Middle East. He went to Saudi, he went to Qatar, he went to Dubai, he went all around, trying to get buyers for American products. The alliance, though, Joey, is deepening following a $1.5 billion minority stake that Softy has in G42. I know this is something that you like. Yeah. You're looking for the deep pockets for people to buy up these chips.
Yeah, and I mean, not too long ago, we were talking about obviously the shipment of all of NVIDIA's chips being approved over to the UAE and some of those Gulf countries is phenomenal. And it's good to see that, because is it going to kind of subsidize what we've seen going on with China now that they're not going to be getting any? You have other countries that are looking to build their AI, obviously their AI infrastructure out, and I think it's a good start. Most definitely, UAE, those guys are sitting on boatloads of cash and everything, so I think it's a good region to partner up with.
All right, Adara, what's your take on this latest Microsoft G42 tie-up?
More of the same. I really don't have too much to say on this. I think that, as you kind of alluded to there, Sharief, the timeline of this, like end of 2025, they're giving themselves a tough deadline. So if they can achieve that, I think that's pretty impressive. Other than that, though,
On to Google clearing an antitrust hurdle for a $32 billion deal with Wiz. Wiz and Google, they're going to tie up. And in case you don't know what Wiz is, they're a cybersecurity firm. And Google, Alphabet, received early termination from the DOJ, the Department of Justice, clearing a key regulatory hurdle for the $32 billion acquisition. So it wasn't just the DOJ that had to give the clearance, but the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, which they actually had to come back for and reconvene, because the government is not functioning, the federal government right now, to post the early termination, which they did on the 24th of October. The DOJ gave them the nod today, so they got the nod from both those departments. But that's not the end of it. Other global regulators are still reviewing the transaction, so the deal not fully cleared yet. It's cleared domestically in the United States, but I'm assuming they probably have to go through the Competition Markets Authority in England and then probably the European regulator. And those guys, they're notoriously great with American companies. They love American companies. The early termination is notable, as I mentioned, because the FTC had paused such approvals during the recent U.S. government shutdown. So it was an exception that was granted here. They also did it for Pfizer, by the way. Now, a little bit about Wiz. A fast-growing cybersecurity startup valued at about $10 billion. Holy, that's a premium there. $10 billion, $32 billion acquisition. Dang, bro. Specializes in cloud security software used by major corporations. The deal here, though, is going to help Google Cloud. Apparently, the integration is going to significantly boost Google's cybersecurity and compliance offerings, and we know Google Cloud growing quite nicely here, Joey, trying, to deal with the other two big hitters, AWS and Azure.
Absolutely. I think the whole space is going to continue to grow, obviously, with all the AI spend and build out. We'll go through a couple of the cybersecurity names here, Sharief. I mean, here's the ETF. I'm pretty sure it's CYBR. This is phenomenal stuff. I like it. I know Hand W up there as well too, but this ETF is absolutely growing. CyberArk Limited, is that the ETF? Yeah, okay, so I'm pretty sure this one. Another one was an Israeli name. I mean, 340% from April 23. That's a big time move. Teaming up, I think this space is going to continue to grow, as I mentioned before, in the likes of CrowdStrike, Pan W, and everything along those lines. So CrowdStrike, not too far off of those previous highs, up to 530 now, down 5%. But look at this trend, guys. It's just steady northeast here. So, I mean, good luck for them. I think if it's going to benefit and make Google Cloud more efficient, then why not?
All right, Adair, $32 billion acquisition valued at $10 billion. What do you make of this?
It's a massive acquisition. I think the biggest thing here is just it's more of what we've seen here, this trend so far this year, and specifically under this administration, of the FTC or the U.S. regulators in general being a little bit more friendly towards mergers and acquisitions or M&A. And I think, honestly, that's been a really fun thing for this market. We know there's already been, I believe, 5 companies this year that have been added to the S&P 500 simply because other S&P components were either merged or acquired by other companies. So I think it's the merger acquisition culture is certainly alive and well, and I think it's a good look. Now, my thing is, and I do think it's worth noting, as you put there in your note, Sharief, the WIC CEO literally put out here, hey, this is just in the U.S. We haven't gotten approval from other countries, and I think other country approval is maybe going to be the do or die for this deal. And that's because we know that the UK has had, of course, some antitrust related issues here with the US, the Digital Markets Act, et cetera. So I think, the EU as well, EU, UK. The point is, over in Europe, we do have some, I think, more antitrust concerns right now than we necessarily would with the US. Good first step for this deal, but I don't think the US is going to be the real test for Wix and Google.
Thank you very much. Let's talk about. Go ahead, Joey.
So no, you're right. That's the Israeli one that I was talking about is CYBR, right? CYBR.
Okay. Is that a cybersecurity?
Yeah, yes. This is CyberArk here. This is C. So what did I just type in?
CYBR.
So this is.
CIBR.
CIBR is the ETF there. Okay. So there it is. I mean, still a good look off of those April lows. You can't go wrong here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the cybersecurity names are only. I think they're just going to get more important as AI develops.
Exactly.
Especially with quantum, we'll have to see how that all works out there. But all right, guys, Tesla, big day tomorrow, November 6th, 3 p.m. Central Time. All right, we all know what we're talking about. We're talking about our very good friend Elon Musk's pay package. We don't even know. So Tesla's board, in case you don't know what's going on, they proposed granting Elon Musk up to $878 billion in stock-based pay contingent on performance milestones. We're talking about tens of millions of EVs. We're talking about millions of FSD subs. We're talking about robo-taxis. We're talking about humanoid robots. There's a lot of milestones that's got to be met here. Shareholders will vote Thursday on whether to approve the plan or risk Musk leaving Tesla entirely. The payout would make Musk's compensation unprecedented in corporate history, potentially giving him, yes, that 25% stake in Tesla. And look, he made no bones about it. He was on All In, he was on Rogan last week, and he said, I ain't creating a robot army unless I have 25%. So make of that what you will. It's to go on here. The board, they said their argument is only Musk can deliver. The board contends that Musk is essential to Tesla's AI and robotics future, including self-driving robotaxis and, of course, humanoid robots. Supporters, Joey, they see the plan as performance aligned. No win, no pay. Musk gets paid only if the stock skyrockets, reaching a market cap of 8.5 trillion in 10 years. Some institutional investors, many, Norwegian, the Norwegian, what's it called, Sovereign Wealth Fund. We've also got Lafler Tangler Investments. Lafler is backing the deal. They argue shareholders benefit if the stock appreciates sixfold, which would have to. But there's also a lot of different institutions that are concerned. Critics call it a governance disaster. They argue Tesla's board is overly dependent on Elon. You got the Norwegian Sovereign Wealth Fund, you got CalPERS. They all publicly oppose the plan. They cite excessive main person risk. They're like, yo, we can't live and die by one guy, all right? I kind of see both sides of the argument here, Joey. I want to hear what your opinion is.
I think it's important to understand, obviously, the significance of Elon Musk within the company. It has to get you thinking, like, who's to follow him? Because he's built that himself. I think it's a little bit something that to be worrisome about. But other than that, it's in the shareholders' best interest to keep Elon Musk satisfied and distracted with Tesla, expanding his geofence in robo-taxi, and everything that he needs to do to get the company to that specific target. Now you have this third party essentially voting who doesn't even have any control of the shares, saying, hey, we might not agree on this pay package. I don't think that's going to be good for Elon Musk motivation. You need to keep him motivated at all costs.
David dropping a $5 super chat.
China.
Oh, wrong one.
I'm really rich.
How many of you voted on the $1 trillion package and board rules? If you voted, and try to keep it legit, if you voted yes, throw up ones. If you voted no, throw up twos. Let's see what we get in the chat. All right, Adira, give us your take on this big day tomorrow.
So my take is I am fairly confident this will go through. I don't think at this point the debate is whether or not it'll be passed. I know obviously we have some major shareholders like the Norwegian Investment Bank Management. We know they came out or they said, yeah, no, we're not down. We're voting against it. I think the issue here, though, is these larger banks, which we know, again, a lot of these banks and wealth management funds have already said they voted against the package, versus the power of the retail shareholder. And who runs Tesla sentiment-wise? I would argue, as someone who spent arguably too much time on Tesla bull Twitter, I would argue that the retail shareholder runs Tesla all the way from here to Nantucket 110%. So all of this is to say, I think it's going to pass. Now, the issue is this quote unquote good or bad? And I am the type of person, I don't want to, speculate on the good or bad of it. I do think, though, listening to you guys talk about this, I wonder what it says that we think the only reason to keep a man motivated to work at the company that he's the CEO of is if we give him $1 trillion. Now, obviously, he has to meet a lot of milestones, and I'm certainly not going to negate that importance. I think he's obviously also a lot more motivated to work. And I talk a lot about his timelines and his time management issues. I think if he has those milestones, he's more likely to meet these timelines. All of that being said, though, I think it's more the principle of the thing, the fact that we feel we need to give him money in order to work, that could be a little bit dicey, and I understand, but there's some issues with that. That being said, A, I think it'll pass. It's my opinion anyway. And B, I do think that if he gets the money, he is much more likely to deliver on these goals.
Thank you. Yeah, one of the things I also wanted to add, guys, was, and we talked about this, guys. We talked about the proxies voting on behalf of large funds, whether they're ETF, sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, whatever they are, okay? They delegate some of the corporate governance issues and votes to these proxies. We're talking about Glass Lewis, we're talking about ISS, who Elon lovingly calls ISIS. And his contention, Elon's contention, whether you agree with this or not, is that these proxy firms have been infiltrated by social activists who want to push non-shareholder specific agendas. We're talking about climate goals. However noble you may see the goals to be, climate goals, DEI initiatives, as well as political initiatives. And he says, this is Elon's argument, that they have no place in a company that has to champion shareholder value over everything else. We'll have to see how that all works out. He's made no bones about how he feels about these proxy firms. As he typically makes us well aware of his opinions on things, Joey. Let's go on to the next. Go ahead. We'll do that one first.
Right on, brother. Let's rock and roll on that. Start off, e-signal, new traders, listen up. First month free. That's right, we're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite. Analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform, it's everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts. Predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description.
All right, Joey, let's talk about Novo Nordisk cutting growth outlook amid weight loss competition. Where's NVO at now? Because it was tanking. Early, down 3 2/3 or thereabouts. So they lowered their full year sales forecast down to 8 to 11% growth. That was from the 8 to 14 that they had previously guided. And it most notably marks the 4th guidance cut by the company this year. Not a good look. Their operating profit was also reduced. They had previously guided 4 to 10%. Now they're guiding 4 to 7. So not much to say, at least initially. The stock dropped at the open, later rebounding modestly, but it does remain down about 45% year to date, a marked difference between its competitor, Eli Lilly. So how'd they do here, Joey? Their Q3 net profit, 20 billion Danish kroners, which is about 3.1 billion US dollars. That was in line. Their Wegovy sales did rise 18% year over year, but they did miss on the revenue for their Wegovy sales. The 9-month operating profit, I don't know why you're giving it to us in 9 months. What are they doing over there in Europe? Up 10%, but it would have been 21% had there not been restructuring costs. The CEO said Novo's obesity drugs now serve 1 million US patients, roughly 1/3 of the market, with everyone fighting over it. Competition from Eli Lilly, of course, an emerging biotech player, is pressuring prices. They also launched up to $10 billion bid for U.S. obesity biotech Metsera. We know that they're engaged in a bit of a fight right now with Pfizer. Pfizer's offering $9 billion. Novo upped them by $1 billion. Pfizer responded with a second lawsuit calling Novo's bid anti-competitive. Novo, for their part, they countered, saying the claims were false and without merit, and they emphasized that the proposal complies with all the laws. Metsera's board labeled Novo's offer as superior to Pfizer's, Joey, so kind of not leaving us with any doubt as to who they prefer. The CEO as well saying Novo would not have pursued Metsera unless confident we could close it, calling it a strategic complement to their pipeline. What do you make of this entire thing, Joseph?
It's very interesting, in my opinion. I think it's really important for Novo to kind of get this deal done with Hims and hers, just to expand a little bit. Because if you look at this stock, it's down 70% off of those highs, and it doesn't look like it's going to turn around at any given point. So I think they need to expand Wegovy and get it on to make it more accessible to its users. And then cheaper is obviously more important as well, too, working on the oral pill, which I think is going to be extremely big, especially for drugs down the pipeline. So, yeah, Novo Nordisk, extremely tough look, down 68.8% off of that previous high of June 26, 2024.
Yeah, it's like a secular bear run.
Yeah, it's not good.
That's ugly. All right, Adara, give us your take on NVO.
Yeah, I think here with Novo Nordisk, we know that I follow this space pretty heavily. Yeah, I think the 4th guidance cut in 1 year or however long that's not great. Don't do that. I don't know how I feel about that. I do think, though, with regards to the issue with Metsera, which I think as of right now is probably the more timely and, in my opinion, maybe more interesting issue here. With regards to Novo, I think 100% they're likely to win. We know that even yesterday, because Pfizer's already filed 2 suits with regards to this. One of the suits we had the judge yesterday saying, like, I don't even know if this belongs in court, but hey, we'll still have a hearing tomorrow. And by the way, that hearing is scheduled for today at 3:15 Eastern. So if I get any news from that, I'll let you know. But either way here, the point I'm trying to make is I think they're likely to get that Metsera win. If they get that Metsera win, I think that could be a huge game changer for Novo. If they lose Metsera, which again I think is much less likely, but it could happen, then maybe sentiment for Novo gets a little bit rocky. But it is worth noting they did move up here on these reports from CBS that we just got, like 20 minutes ago, suggesting that tomorrow we're going to have Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly announcing alongside the Trump admin and President Trump these weight loss drug price cuts. I think if that happens, that should be at least a near-term catalyst for the stock on watch. So because of that and because of the potential Metsera boon, maybe on watch near term, but they do have a lot of turnaround to do. I want to mention as well here, Trump has still not appeared for this talk here at the America Business Forum Miami. And as I say that, the screen changes, so maybe he's going to appear, but it's been like background elevator music for the last 20 minutes. Back to you.
All right, let's go and talk about another EV company here. XPeng unveils the robotaxi and humanoid robots to rival Tesla. Let's talk about this. So XPEV announced plans to launch robotaxis this year, 2025, reversing its earlier stance that the business was still years away. The company will release 3 robotaxi models. Each is going to be powered by 4 in-house Turing AI chips with a combined 3,000 TOPS of computing power. They claim to be the most powerful in-car AI system globally. The AI, excuse me, the AI system is built on vision language action architecture, which is designed to process visual and contextual cues for fully autonomous driving. Sounds a lot like Tesla. Jesus Christ, this car, bro. Alibaba, we know, is also partnering with XPeng for its Auto Navi and AMP apps to integrate mapping, navigation, ride-hailing, etc. Pilot testing is expected to begin later this year in Guangzhou and other major Chinese cities. The co-president, Brian Gu, said robotaxis will become a global phenomenon. And they, as I mentioned, they're going to have 2 distinct models. They're going to have commercial robotaxis for shared urban fleets, and then they're going to have private self-driving vehicles for family or small groups use. They also have a humanoid angle to this. They introduced its 2nd-gen humanoid robot. They're calling it Iron, and it's scheduled for mass production next year. The robot will initially serve as a tour guide, sales assistant, or office concierge, so to speak. It's not going to be for the home or for the factory use due to the high cost and China's low labor expense in general. The CEO of XPeng, Joey, said they're going to sell more robots than cars over the next decade, and the humanoid robots are going to run on the 3 Turing AI chips as well as a solid-state battery. So could this company be any more Tesla-like? You know what they feel like to me?
What?
They feel like what's it called?
The iPhone
one. What's that one called?
What is it called?
Xiaomi.
Xiaomi. Yeah.
They feel like Xiaomi. The way that Xiaomi copies everything Apple does, it feels like XPeng copying everything Tesla does. Camera-only system, humanoid robots.
Come on, man. Hey, it's a good business model to copy, I think.
I'm not saying it's bad,
in my opinion. So no, shout out to all the concierge jobs that seem to be soon to be lost, I guess, at the end of the day. So no more building concierge or anything along those lines. Tour guides. A lot of stuff going on here. Again, with the humanoid robots and everything along those lines. I think that it's still quite a bit of ways away until they're integrated into our day-to-day lives. Robo-taxis, I'm curious as what their geofencing is looking like. Are they more freely with it? I personally don't know, and I've never been. For those who have you driven in a robo-taxi or taken a ride, I guess I should say, in a robo-taxi? And where is it allowed? It's in some densely populated areas. As for that, I mean, copy Tesla, the Xiaomi copying Apple, good business models to copy, in my opinion. Adair, what do you think about it? Okay. Oh, no worries. Like, oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So sorry, they're doing something over there. Sorry, guys, I didn't see. Hypercube says they drove in a Waymo. That's not too bad. When it happens really fast. Yeah, I mean, it definitely faster than what you think. Aside from that, guys, let's get back into the trading. I tried to take a short on the market, but as soon as I put in a new high, I'm like, yeah, let's not try to stand in front of this freight train. I then posted up on some Microsoft, right? But that's gone now from my entry price, and I don't think I'm going to catch that fill. Get this thing out of here, man. Jeez. Hold on, so I can show you guys. Yeah, and I don't think I'm going to catch a fill in the middle of the zone. 508.80. You're almost up $1 from that point right there. So not too bad of a look. No, she's doing something else. They're working on something else back there. We'll get back to her momentarily. So again, I was looking for a move back in, but this market just wants to continuously grind. So that's going to be it for any short attempts for me. I'm surprised that the market is as strong as it is, considering look what Microsoft's been doing on the intraday session, right? So not too bad. You're now above the resistance zone right there. So good luck. I was playing the break of this 5-minute candle, and I posted up, but unfortunately that train has left the station without your boy there. So again, just 1 for 1 on the session, 50%. Meta was definitely our best trade of the day, so we'll stick with that, and no more shorts on the overall market. I was asking Adair, but they were doing some stuff back there about Xpeng and everything along.
So should we go on to the next story?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, let's
Adira's
go
ready.
on, guys. Pinterest misses earnings but tops revenue forecast. Let's talk about it. Their Q3 EPS, 38 pennies, missing the 40 expected by analysts. 5% as well, year-over-year decline in earnings. Not a good look. Despite consistent revenue growth, though, because they did grow the top line number, which we'll talk about in a second, they failed to meet now EPS estimates in each of the last 4 quarters, obviously signaling an issue with margins and cost control. So what am I talking about here? Revenue, 1.05 billion, slightly above 1.048, so an easy beat there, and a 17% year-over-year growth on that top line. That's as good as it's going to get for this report. They've surpassed revenue forecasts 4 out of the last 5 times in the same way that they've missed EPS in 4 straight quarters. The company attributed the growth on the top line to ad performance improvements, international expansion, and product level personalization via AI tools. Now, what's their guide? Their guide for Q4 is 71 pennies on revenue of 1.33 billion. That's in line with analyst expectations, and management commentary indicated a cautious tone heading into next year, emphasizing measured ad spend recovery and ongoing investments in AI and shopping integrations. I got to tell you, I haven't opened this app in over a year, and the really only time that I did was to get like outfit ideas when I'm going out. Like if I want to mix a blazer with a shirt with pants or whatever else, I'll mosey on there and just
like
get
for
some
decor things.
I guess,
at the end of the day,
Katina
right?
Man's wife was using this as well. Shout out to Marissa, and she hasn't said anything to him about it in a while. What do you make of this, Joey?
I know it's interesting. Did we get anything on daily active users? Did that increase? Did you mention
I didn't
that?
have anything
No,
on here,
you didn't
so.
have that. So I think that's going to be an important metric. Their DAU. You want to see that grow. As for Pinterest, I've personally never had it. And it's funny, I actually I never had an account. I actually went into Reddit the other day, and I haven't. That website has changed substantially from when I used to use it years and years ago. But as for Pinterest, guys.
I love that app, man.
You love Reddit?
Reddit like at least 4 or 5 times a week.
Oh yeah, you like Reddit?
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't have any issues with it. It gave me like X vibes, like Twitter kind of vibes, like a thing, right?
It's like the Wild West.
You can find anything that you want in there.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So which I find pretty interesting. But as for the technicals here on Pinterest, guys, this is a pretty tough look. I mean, it doesn't really recover, obviously, off of that COVID run. You trade all the way up to 90, 89 bucks, 90 bucks. And now you're down to 25 bucks, gapping down, heading towards some key support levels around 23.12. Something that I would most definitely want to keep an eye on. We almost caught that fill on Microsoft. It just never hit the bid, which is unfortunate. But anyways, aside from that, guys, COVID highs, you're down 70%. I don't know if this name's ever going to recover, and I don't think it will, to be honest with you.
Oh, statement.
Man.
All right, Adira, pins missing EPS 4 straight quarters.
Yeah, my opinion on that chart and this report is, it's kind of choppy. There's not a lot to be inspired by. And Sharief, I like as well in the note that you have here, you mentioned, sure, it's up like in line here with the gain of the overall market, but the fact that it's less or up less on the year than Meta and Snapchat, which I would say are its direct peers, I think that's a bit concerning, and I think we'll also get a better sense of the sector when we have our good pal Snapchat report tonight after the bell, because Snapchat is another one of those companies that's very much become an ad revenue type play. I think that'll be an interesting look to see how they fare, and it's interesting too, as much as we talk about how companies like Pinterest and Snapchat are often alive because of their ads. I was even seeing one of the stock Twitter accounts that I follow saying today that they would be on Pinterest more if not for the ads. So that's interesting too. These ads, which actually, obviously help their earnings, they could be impacting their user growth. Again, that's just an anecdotal opinion, but I think something worth noting nonetheless. Trump is speaking right now. I just want to mention this. He hasn't said much of note, just kind of repeating what he normally says, but there's something I do want to mention here as well. CNBC reporting that Trump's nuclear power investment in Westinghouse could eventually lead to an IPO with the U.S. government as a shareholder. So nuclear IPO potentially with the U.S. government.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go on to the next one. Upstart beating on earnings, but the stock sinks on a weak outlook. Let's have a look at where UPST is hanging out. we're down 13 2/3. So Q3 EPS 52 pennies, beating the 42 expected by analysts and growing nicely here, about almost 24% year over year. That's the current quarter. The beat represents the company's fourth consecutive quarter surpassing EPS estimates, driven really by cost management as well as operational efficiency. Despite the earnings beat, though, revenue did disappoint, coming in at $277.11 million, missing forecast by about 1.4%, and just increasing about 7% year over year, so high single digits, not enough to get investors excited. The market reaction will obviously, as I mentioned, sharply negative. Traders focusing on the soft guidance and the revenue stagnation here, sending the stock lower double digits. So what's the outlook here? So we know Upstart obviously operates an AI-driven lending and financial services space. They continue to face macroeconomic headwinds as the credit market is a little dicey at the moment. AI credit underwriting platform remains a differentiator, though, because they're able to keep costs a little bit lower, less human involvement. They see their full year 2025 EPS coming in at 54 pennies on revenue of 302.7 for Q4, with full year guidance being a little bit shy of $1 billion, 963.4 million. That's modest growth at best, Joey. What do you make of this Upstart drop here, about 13 2/3?
Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting, man. I don't know if there's been any splits or anything in between this, Sharief, but if you look at this, it's not good whatsoever. I hope that there is some form of a split, but I don't think that's the case. It's not displaying anything. You're down 90% off of these highs. That's going to be obviously your COVID high there, and now you're starting to trade significantly lower down to the downside. You get this gap down heading towards some key support levels. I personally don't like UPST here at this level or at all, to be honest with you, coming off these lows. So that's all I really have to say about Upstart.
All right, Adair, give us your take on Upstart.
I don't really have much of an opinion on this report, truthfully. Yeah, I don't have too much to say here.
Go on to the next one. Unity Software surges on strong Q3 beat and bullish guidance. So they crushed EPS with 20 pennies easily, handily beating the projected of a loss of 23 pennies per share. They came in profitable when the market was looking for weakness. It's a sharp turn to profitability, guys. It was really supported by cost discipline and stronger performance in both their core business units. Look, it's a successful integration, the company is saying, of their AI-driven tools and improved monetization. Shares, at least earlier, were up about 8%. Where are they at right now? 14.5%. Great look here for Unity. So revenue came in at 471 million. That beat the 447. Sorry, they increased from 447 and it beat the estimates of 453. Their creative solutions division, 152 million, beating last year's print of 147. Their Grow Solutions, 318, beating the 299. So they beat on all their little sectors there, with their adjusted EBITDA growing nicely, 23% year-over-year growth on margins there. Management credited Unity Vector AI and continued create segment strength as key contributors to the outperformance. They're guiding well, Joey, as well. Q4 guidance coming in at 480 to 490, above the 475, indicating confidence in demand resilience. All their segments they're expecting growth in. What do you make of this?
Yeah. So interesting stuff. So as of September 30th, 2025, cash and cash equivalents have restricted cash was around 1.9 billion, and then increased by 381 million as compared with 101.5 billion, I guess I should say, as of December 31st, 2024. So you're starting to grow there. That's some good stuff. As for the technicals here in Unity Software, keep an eye out on it. This is a big time recovery. I mean, you're not going to get to where you were before in some of these levels. Obviously, the peak of the COVID right there, December 21, and then now you're starting to climb a little bit higher. So we'll just use our typical gauge of April lows, and that's going to be approximately 163%. But if you've been bag holding this name for quite some time, I'd look out. Key resistance zones also Sharief around that $43 and $45 level. 47 also as well too. So a lot of zones that it needs to clear in order for it to continue to climb higher. But you can't complain, or nor were you going to off of these bounces earlier this year. So again, a substantial move higher once again, 172%.
Woo. All right, Adara, give us your take on Unity.
It's a strong report, and I think, yeah, the numbers speak for themselves, guidance speaks for themselves. I want to talk here about what Trump just said about the GDP. He believes the GDP growth in Q3 is going to be 4.2% or greater. So again, Trump's still talking here, expecting a very strong Q3 GDP. As we knew from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, we were going to get some economic talk from him. He's talked a lot about egg prices, GDP growth expectations, the strength of the stock market. So yeah, lots of economy talk here, most of which we already knew, but I think this GDP point, certainly worth knowing.
Hey, we are done the news segment. Great look, guys. Let's take a look at what's still trending in here markets. We really have Solar Edge rocketing up, guys. Excuse me. Let me just maximize that. Solar Edge is all gas, no brakes. Now it is up 30.1% on the day, taking out $40. It had a couple of bull flags here. One, initially, we had good consolidation at that, I want to say the 10 o'clock timeline till about 12.30, then we broke above that range above $39, and we really haven't looked back since. Uptrend, very clean, right off the 10 EMA, Joey. Good look here for SEDG. I was also looking at QuantumScape. QuantumScape starting to give back a little bit here, guys. 1771 high. Looks like it's losing the 10 and the 20 on the 5-minute. I perceive 17 to 1710 could be a great area of support for a pickup in the afternoon if you guys are interested. I like it for a couple of reasons. One, VWAP, obviously, right around 17, the whole dollar level as well. But the price action resistance into 17 is what really has my attention on that. So I'd be a buyer off that $17 level. ASST is another one we're involved in, which has basically done nothing for the majority of the afternoon. SLDP too, Joey, hanging out at highs, man. This one's had trouble with 80s. Really not breaking down all that much, got as low as 50, and here we are again back in the low 70s looking to take out that 80 penny level, my man.
All right, so MTSR says Payco. Payco, okay, that's not Payco. I know that's not. Maybe it is though. 426. It might be you, Payco, but I don't think it is. Shorts are printing, they say. I posted up here at 508.80s on Microsoft. Surprisingly, it just didn't get me at that range, so it's holding up here. Significantly range bound right now, but coming off those lows, it helped add an additional leg into the TQs. But if you take a look at Tesla, this thing's going nuts.
Oh, wow.
Is it almost done?
This looks great.
Yeah, it's almost done. All right, so as for the from the daily, guys, a big time move. Watch out for this break here in Tesla. I think it's going to be coming soon, especially if you sit on top of this range. That could be an intraday trade and a potential swing trade too, as long as you hold the top end, sit on top of 465, and then you're off of the races, breaking that previous pivot, which is also the all-time high. So 4.7%. That's nothing for Tesla to put in that type of the day. From a percentage metric, Sharief, I'm sure you can pull it up a lot faster than I can.
Let me pull it up.
On the day, it is, I can tell you that right now, 4.5%. Oh. So you get another 4.5%, 5% tomorrow. Guess what? You're at all-time highs here in Tesla. But in the meantime, we're posted up on Microsoft to see if we can catch anything. Quick trade review. TQs, we took the L on that one. As soon as it broke through, I'm like, not a good day for the shorts there. So out, not going to be doing that, going with the flow. One and done on the shorts. And then that's it for Meta. Was most definitely our better trade on the day, our best one too. Considering this is the move that I was essentially looking for yesterday, we didn't get it, but today we come back, stick to the game plan, and sure enough, we got that oversold bounce in META. And Microsoft, I don't think we're going to catch that level, but that would have been nice, $1 or so, or about 60 cents, we'll call it on that one. But other than that, guys, it's almost two. You got something?
Yeah, I got to tell everybody, MTC, guys, this was sub $1 for the majority of the day. That's why I wasn't really looking at it. It just rocketed up, clearing the dollar, no problem. It's at $1.20. It is halted to the upside. I'm going to look at this tap for you guys in a second. It's up 294%. Keep your eye out on this one. Let me just give you guys the float, about 25.1 million shares. Let's take a gander at where the halt, or what the tap tells us there. So we will be able to see the tap. It's an NQ name, so we're halted at 120. The tap is showing me 121 right now, so not exactly rocketing up, but this one looks like it might be a good one going into the afternoon for small cap traders. Keep your eye on this one if you're interested. And it is now 2 o'clock, Joey, so send them off, bro.
Send them off, man. I hope everyone's had a fantastic day. Stick to your guns. I mean, it's a solid recovery day from what we've seen yesterday.
Hopefully it's just not a breath within the market and we don't continue to the downside. I would rather some topside continuation. Hope everyone has a fantastic session. We're now sending it to Neil and Sean.
Care.
Welcome.